Welcome back to another live stream here on YouTube. My name is Marquise Chaney, and I'm just happy to see you all, man. I'm just happy to see you. I know y'all probably wondering, like, who in the world, Bo? Like, who? Huh? What? But rest assured, we got your man backstage. We're gonna bring him on shortly. Just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat so far. We got Jamal D pulling up as soon as the game start. He is in his seat. Shout out to Jamal. We got Daniel here in the building. Shout out to you all. I appreciate you all joining the stream. Like I said, we got a very special episode in store for you. You already know who backstage, man. We don't got to play. Y'all know who backstage, but we're going to talk a little Falcon football. We're going to talk about Falcons training camp because it's almost 1 week away. We're going to look at the depth chart. We're going to look at any potential camp battles. And, of course, we're going to answer this question. Should Atlanta trade for Brandon Ayuk? So as y'all come in, y'all keep showing some love. I see we got Bobby in the chat. We got Red Swarm in the chat. Appreciate you all pulling up. But without further ado, man, we got a very special guest. If you ask me, he's a top Falcons football content creator on YouTube, man. He has over 1 million views on YouTube. He has one of the biggest videos I've seen on YouTube, with over 300,000 views. We're talking about one half of Southern Silk, a Georgia State alum and a former football coach. We got Big Low here in the building. What's up, Bo? How you doing,
What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man?
Hey,
Chilling, man. Boy. Hey, I tell you one thing, boy. I need you. Hey, I might need you to come around with me, help boost my ego up, boy. You talking about me like that, boy? I don't know what to say about you, Bo. You got an old cousin, boy, feeling good over here, boy.
I mean, you the top dog, man. You the top dog. I mean, so don't be wrong. There's a lot of guys at the top, but if you ask me, I'm a fan. Like I said, definitely appreciate you joining me here and appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform, man. Super grateful.
For sure, man. You already know what time it is, man. Look, I've been meaning to get up with you for a minute. First of all, congratulations on everything that you've been doing out here, in the social media spaces. If everybody don't know Marq Chaney, that's Marq with the Q. Chaney, make sure that you go check him out. Q is in 112, as in Q Mike Slim to Ryan. Y'all, a lot of y'all Thundercats might not know nothing about that, but y'all make sure that y'all, go subscribe to my homeboy Marq Chaney on YouTube, man. Great content, bro. Great content.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate it. Especially, I appreciate you stepping away from college football at 25, man. Let's talk about it real quick. I know you got it early. What is your first reactions, man?
That game, first of all, it's been a long time coming, in the words of Sam Cooke. But change has come. And that game is so much better than Madden. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. The physics are a whole lot better. You have the whole pageantry of college football. You have, the traditions and everything, the recruiting. I love it. I'm locked in. I can't say which team I'm playing with because that could give the spoiler away from whenever my cousin, announces his commitment. So I can't say which team I'm playing with. But yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm loving it, Bo.
Hey. I wouldn't be lying if I didn't say I'm a little jealous, man. Seeing everybody post about it, it's like, should I do it? Should I do it? But I'm gonna wait. We only got a couple more days for me. I'm gonna be right there with you, man. But hey, you already know who I'm playing with, man.
Who you got?
I'm playing with them dogs. I'm playing with them dogs. Now, we talking about dynasty mode. I might grab Tech, or I might go to Georgia State, try to put on for you.
There you go.
But online, you gotta rock with them dogs, man.
I ain't knocking you. Can't go wrong with the dogs, man. Can't go wrong with the dogs. You already know what time it is.
And so let's check in real quick with the chat, man. Like I said, we had a lot of people pop in as soon as we went live. We also had John Higgins pull up. What's going on, John?
What's going on, Big John?
Trucker Mike in the building. We got Yuri saying the legends Marq and Big Low. Wow. Wow. Hey, I mean, to me, wait. That's the legend right there.
I don't
You
know
know,
about that. I don't know about that one, bro.
hey, but we got John Higgins, man. He's asking, what it do, man? What it do?
What's going on,
We
big
got
time?
we got Brian Peoples, Larry from the Dixon Way, and Wallace Smith. So hey, we got a dope crew. So let's not waste their time. Let's get right into it, man. You inspired me a lot last week. You had the conversation if the fan base, if the media was sleeping on the Falcons rookie draft class. So I thought it was only right, man. We take a deeper look.
Okay.
Again, you have to forgive me for missing that coaches meeting, but I had to reschedule for the day to just look at the whole depth chart and
Okay.
try to look ahead because again, training camp is 1 week away. So first of all, how are you feeling with this roster as a whole? Without even pulling it up, without looking at it, how are you feeling?
I feel very good about this roster because it's a different situation than we've normally been in, because we actually have some depth. If a middle linebacker or if a linebacker goes down, it's not the end of the world. If a offensive lineman goes down, I mean it'll be rocky, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. Same thing with defensive line. Normally we've been robbing Peter to pay Paul, in the draft, right? Like whenever we draft this, we take guys because we don't have a choice. Um,
Right.
like what 3-4 years ago, we literally took two guys in the first round for the offensive line because we had no choice. Now it's like we have a little bit more freedom, so I'm really I'm feeling a whole lot better about this roster. What you thinking about it?
I mean, hey, I'm right there with you. I feel a lot better this season than I have seasons prior, and I think a lot of it has to do with us addressing the quarterback position. Man, it's funny. That's something I used to always say about Matt Ryan. I'm like, man, y'all want to talk so much mess about this man, but when he's gone, we're gonna miss him. And have we not, missed him and that type of production more than anything else? I mean, when we can move the ball in between the 20s, but we have careless turnovers, again, you see the value of having an experienced quarterback. So, like I said, man, we had the experienced quarterback. We, in my opinion, had the right guy leading the group. I'm feeling pretty good about this roster, man. And as we see here, we addressed it at quarterback one position. We got Kirk, Michael Penix. As a matter of fact, I haven't really spoken to you about the addition of Kirk and Michael Penix. So let's just start there for a second. How do you feel about the Falcons going out and getting Kirk Cousins? We're talking about a guy that's going to be 36 years old throughout this season. How do you feel about the Falcons guaranteeing him $100 million coming off the Achilles injury?
Definitely. Well, and before I do answer that question, I do want to ask the chat as well. Everybody that's watching, y'all feel free to answer Mark's questions as well. So I do want to ask y'all, how do y'all feel about this roster? If you feel comfortable about the roster, put a one in the chat. It's one of those cases where you kind of iffy on it. You still kind of shaky about how things look, and put a two in the chat because we always make sure that we, get outside information about how everybody feels. But Kirk Cousins, man, I always equate things to music, Mark. And everybody's talking about Kyle Pitts playing two positions, and everybody's talking about this and that. But whenever I think about Kirk Cousins, it makes me think about that old Drake song with Rihanna. If you let me, here's what I do. I'll take care of you. I'm thinking Kirk Cousins is going to take care of those guys. I think he's going to take care of the Darnell Mooney's, the Kyle Pitts, the Drake Londons of the world, the Rondell Moores, the Bijan Robinsons. I feel like he's going to legitimately take care of them, and you're going to have a veteran presence that can make all of the throws. Just like you mentioned earlier, we haven't had Matt Ryan, and we missed him after he left. So we're going out on it's a gamble because just like the banner says down here, after his Achilles injury, I feel like that's why it was such a big deal to get Michael Penix, which a lot of people didn't agree with, but now I'm good with it.
Hey, so I mean, let's stay there. I mean, you said a lot of people didn't agree with the selection of Michael Penix. How did you feel?
I mean, shoot, you seen it. You see what I said online?
Well, and that's a great point. That's a great point because your initial reaction it caused shockwaves around YouTube universe. So your original reaction was, "What in the world, Bo?" But as of today in July, do you think it was a good idea drafting Penix at 8?
I think it was. I think it was. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because we got caught up in the Latus and the Dallas Turners and the Jared Verses of the world. But if Kirk Cousins went down again, we'd be looking crazy. We would be in the same situation that we were in last year with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. So if you're going to fix the problem, fix the problem. So yeah.
Hey, it's only right we give you one more view.
One more view.
This is live at the Benz draft night.
Here we go. With the 8th pick, the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael. What?
Oh, delete this video, man. Delete this.
Michael Penix? Michael Penix? Are you serious? You just get covered? We just got Kirk Cousins?
Hey, that's gold right there. That's gold right there, man. So again, you slept on it, obviously. So as of now, you're saying that's a good insurance policy to have.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm an insurance professional, and whenever you pay that insurance premium every month, it hurts. You don't want to pay it. This year, our insurance premium was that first round pick with Michael Penix because I feel like Terry Fontenot and Coach Raheem Morris they don't think we're going to be in the top 10 again no time soon. At least I hope that's the way that they're thinking. So,
Right.
so we here. We might as well just go ahead and do what we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I made a video on my channel. I really feel like the last game we see Michael Penix play against Michigan in the championship game, I think it hurt his draft stock. I think that's what made him available at 8. So maybe that's why, the Falcons couldn't pass on him. They felt like he shouldn't have been available. And like you said, it's something you do now, but it could pay off in the future and you could really, thank yourself for making that tough decision. So let's catch up real quick in the chat. We got Red Swan saying that he loves the fact that we were aggressive in addressing our most glaring need. Definitely a great point. Hey, we already know Jamal. Another Southern Silk done popped up. We got Wallace Smith saying he agrees with the Penix draft and understands it from the jump, and we're in a good place when they decide to move from Kirk. We got Joy in the chat. Has Joy's birthday came up? Did we miss it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Joy. Happy birthday, Joy. Hey, she been killing it on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen her birthday pics, man.
Yeah, every time I see her, she in a different pose on top of the cards and everything. Like, what in the world, Joy? I see Joy. I turn. Look, when mine come, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll be on top of the car. I'll post it up, trying to look sensual. I'm gonna do the same thing, Joy.
Hey, it's only right, man. It's only right. Hey, we got the Dixon saying best foot in the ball I've ever seen. I'm telling you, that was. I remember watching it. Because did you post it as the same night? I remember watching it.
Yeah. I posted it like 5 minutes. Yeah, I posted like 5 minutes after it happened.
Man. So let's just jump into that real quick. All right, so you got Kirk Cousins, you got Michael Penix. You got training camp coming up next week. Is there any way you see Michael Penix just being the better quarterback going into week 1?
No.
Why not?
Even if he is legitimately the better quarterback, we're not going to know it. We're not going to know it. I mean, because once again, $180 million, Bo. That's if Kirk Cousins is the inferior quarterback, that's going to be a $180 million secret. That's something that they're going to try to hide as much as they can. So
that's facts.
Yeah. I don't think we'll know. Now, that's why I'm so eager, for the preseason, because I'm eager to see what Michael Penix is going to do in live action. I'm eager to see, is it going to translate to the NFL? I mean, we're seeing all the clips of him throwing all these out routes, beautiful out routes, but I want to see how it looks with 22 people on the field.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, just from a business standpoint, it's not gonna happen. It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. And now, I think there is a world where he can excite some fans, in the preseason. I think we saw something like that with Desmond Ridder, his rookie season. He made some plays in the preseason and we were like, hey, go on and start him, go on and put him in. But he clearly was not ready even going into year 2. So, look, like you said, it ain't going to happen. And to Brian Peoples' point, let Penix sit this season. But I ask you and I ask you all in the chat, is it a lock? Are we going to really say it's a lock for him to be a backup quarterback next season? I mean, my God.
I can't say it is. It depends on what Kurt does this year and how he ends the season. Like,
Right.
if Kurt, if it's one of the situations where, hey, we make it to the divisional round and we lose because the defense just couldn't hold up, but Kurt was looking good. He threw for 4,900 yards this season. Oh yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
you got to run it back. But if Kurt come out and he, 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions for 3,900 yards, like, oh yeah,
Right.
it's time to move on.
Yeah, I agree. So, moving along, we got Taylor Heineke, we got John Paddock, the rookie out of Illinois. Any thoughts? Anything about those two when you look at the rest of the quarterback room?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting to bring Paddock in,
Mm.
especially since he was Washington's teammate, Casey Washington's teammate in Illinois. I think that's going to be a good camp arm. They're going to really get a chance to see what Casey Washington is capable of doing since he has someone that's familiar with him throwing the ball to him. I think that was a smart roster move by Terry.
Yeah, definitely. Especially you get them for the low. Why not? I think that's something that the Falcons have refused to do is bring in competition, throughout the whole roster. So can't be mad at that. Moving along, when you talk about competition, man, I think there is no competition. I think we have the best running back room in the NFL. I think it's no question we got the best quarterback room. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say we have the best running back room in the NFL. If you agree, you already know how low do. Leave a 1 in the chat. If you disagree, if you don't think we got the best running back room, leave a 2 for us. Below, how you feeling when you're looking at Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and then you add in Jace and you add in Avery Williams?
Man, it was crazy because I actually had a chance to meet Jace back in, when was that? Back in March. I had a chance to meet Jace. And the crazy thing is, whenever I met him, he was working. He knew he was done. He knew he was done in Alabama, but he was out there working by himself, 8:00 in the morning. So I'm sitting here like, okay, and the crazy thing is that this was right before it's like 3 weeks before the draft. So I'm sitting here like, man, that's good. He's gonna go to a team, good, hardworking young man. So we out there talk to him for a little bit, joke with him like, hey, you need somebody to come out here and show you something. But the fact that he ended up coming to Atlanta, it's crazy, and I feel like that's the perfect move because he's such a great pass catching running back, and from what I'm hearing about this offense, that's going to be very much needed. So, I mean, we know what Bijan's capable of. I feel like we still don't quite know what Tyler is capable of doing in a balanced offense. But and you put Jason in there too. Man, I think I agree. I agree with Brian Peoples and J Mall. I feel like this might be the best running back. I mean, if we think about it, Mark, what running back room is better in the league, or is close to being better in the league?
I mean, you're definitely looking at Philly. I know they added Barkley, but
You
I
know,
couldn't tell you the backup running back. It seems like I'm forgetting a couple teams, but I mean, we're definitely, pound for pound, we're definitely on the top, especially when you consider we had Arthur Smith and his misuse of Bijan last year, and he still ran for more yards his rookie season than Alvin Kamara has ever ran in his career. Again, Bijan's rookie season, just under 1,000 yards, would have been a career year rushing for Alvin Kamara. So I feel like the sky's the limit with Bijan. Now, let me ask you, because you did question Tyler Algier. What type of role do you think he'll have? Is it just going to be a short yardage running back, a goal line type running back, or do you think they're going to try to balance the two?
I think it's going to be a legitimate change of pace. And I mean, I don't know about you, Mark. I've been to my share of house parties back in the day. You ever been to a house party, Mark?
Oh, absolutely.
Been to a house party? Everybody got like they favorite dance move. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their favorite. But every now and then you gotta switch it up a little bit. You gotta switch it up. And I
You
feel
got
like
to.
that's going to be the situation with the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully, Tyler Algier, he could be that change of pace to switch things up. Whenever you're running the ball effectively, sometimes it doesn't really matter who's back there. To be
Right.
completely honest with you, look at the Denver Broncos in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Look at all of those guys. They could literally put the janitor back there. Whenever you start running the ball effectively, it doesn't matter. As long as you could move a little bit, you can break a few tackles, you know how to read, especially with the zone run blocking scheme that we're running. You know how to read and make that one step and go, that one cut and go. If we can run the ball effectively and this offensive line is as good as we're hoping that it can be, the sky's the limit.
Hey, that's facts. That's definitely facts, man. And that's something you saw out of Kyle Shanahan. We saw a little bit of that from Sean McVay. Like you said, you could plug any running back into this scheme. It's going to be one cut. It's going to be one or two cuts. You make a read and then go. So definitely excited about this running back room, but I think I do have a little concerns with the wide receiver room. So we got Drake London. We're expecting him to have, that breakout type of season. We just added Mooney. We traded Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore. You got to add Kyle Pitts into that conversation when you're talking about just pass catchers, right? I'm a little concerned just because I haven't seen it yet. How are you feeling about our wide receiver room?
I I I agree with you. There is some cause for concern, and you know my saying, Mark. If we're a fifth, we'd all be drunk, right? So it's like we're looking at Darnell Mooney, and we seen what he done. What was that, 2-3 years ago? We're like, man, if he could get back to that, we're looking at Rondale Moore, and everybody talked about his combine numbers. I think everybody was talking about his vert at the combine whenever he was a scout. If he could come through and do what he needs to do, and I feel like it's one of those cases. We don't know what Drake London is capable of doing either. We legitimately don't know. We want him to be the breakout guy. But I mean, it reminds me a lot of the Rams last year whenever Cooper Kupp went down and everybody was like, well, who are they going to throw to? I mean, and enter Puka Nacua. He went on to have a crazy rookie season. So I mean, hopefully, this is going to be one of those cases where Zach Robinson comes in and can fix the passing game, kind of like Arthur Smith fixed the running game. Because people forget we couldn't run the ball, for a while there. Whenever Dirk Cutter was here, so hopefully, we could just find some sort of balance this time.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, you see the names, you get excited, especially with Drake London being, a top 8 pick. Kyle Pitts, top 4 pick. You get excited. I see the potential, but I worry that we don't have enough next to Drake, next to Kyle, to truly, get the most out of them. So I hate to do this, but I'm curious. Should the Falcons, yes, the Atlanta Falcons, should we consider trading for this man right here? Should we consider trading for Brandon Ayuk? Is,
Woo!
is it that concerning when you look at the depth chart, or should
God.
we do it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not that scared, but is this an opportunity that the Falcons should take advantage of, considering we don't have that dominant wide receiver? I mean, again, we're hoping for Drake, we're hoping for Kyle, but one thing's for sure, we've seen Brandon Ayuk eat in this offense. Should we consider it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's too pricey.
I mean, look, we just got out of that situation, Bo.
We did.
Just got out of that situation. I mean, you think about it, like that's why we drafted all of these offensive weapons. So at least for the next 4 years, we don't get back in that situation. So it's like if we went back out and got a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who, I mean, how much he's asking for? Like 25, something like that.
I think so, and I think he's owed like $14 million this season, like 13 and a half. So like I know money wise, we couldn't do off the. We got to make some things shake. I think we got to like extend AJ and restructure some contracts. So it ain't gonna be easy to trade for him or re-sign him.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Shouts out to Larry. Larry say, "Well, what money, Mark?"
Right.
I mean, what you think? What you think? You think we should get him?
Nah, I don't, man. You know, one thing about me, I'm always gonna stir the pot, but I think this is a guy we should have really considered. Well, he's been somewhat available all offseason. If you kind of been following him, he's been made it very clear that, San Francisco is disrespecting him and San Francisco doesn't want to pay him. But this is a guy I would have liked to bring in before you sign Moore or Mooney, before you trade for Moore. At this point, again, I have a little worry in our wide receiver court. Like I said, just a little bit. I think it's definitely more improved compared to last season. But I'm not that worried to trade assets to get him. You got to move around contracts and do all this funny stuff. And then you got to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think that's wise. I don't think that's wise.
Especially, whenever you look at the because next year it's like we got to make a move on the defensive side of the ball as far as like pass rushes and defensive line. It's like, is it one of them situations where we just go back to the old Falcons and like, look, we'll just put this together, the defense, we put the defense together with chewing gum and rubber bands, and we try to put together this offense? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, Mark, I don't know if you realize this, that model of, we're going to go with the high powered flamboyant offense, I feel like that kind of personifies Atlanta.
Absolutely.
I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, my homeboy said, "Yeah, man, this is a fake it till you make it kind of city. If,
That's fact.
you might not be able to afford that Maserati, but you just move a few things around so you could do it. And I don't know if that's one of those cases where that's that's what Atlanta might be trying to go back to, or if we're trying to put together like a balanced team. I just don't know.
Well, I think, again, I'm not really big on trading for Ayuk at this point for the Atlanta Falcons. But one thing I will say is that is the benefit of getting a Raheem Morris, getting a defensive guy that can coach up DBs. You bring in Jimmy Lake, you bring in, guys that have experience coaching D-line. Like, that's kind of the advantage of having a defensive-minded coach, is that they should be able to get, like you said, anybody and make it work. We saw Raheem kind of do that a little bit last season with St. Louis, or excuse me, with the LA Rams. But again, I don't think, I mean, you said it perfectly, man. The Falcons have a history of investing so much in the offense. In the past 4 drafts, we have drafted offensive players. I think it's time, like William Amy is saying, it's time to invest in the defense. And if you're going to trade for anybody, you might need to trade for a pass rusher. So, like I said, I had to ask. I had to ask. We don't got to stay here too long.
I think he's gonna end up going to Washington anyway.
Oh yeah,
because from everything, everything that I'm hearing, everybody's saying Jaden out there looking fire. They said Jaden looking fire out there. If you mess around and get Brandon that's gonna be filthy. That's gonna be filthy.
Because they were teammates in college.
Exactly.
So that will be, especially for what they're trying to do, in Washington. Woo!
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that will be perfect, man. So let's catch up with the chat real quick and then move down the depth chart. Winston was saying we could restructure Grady and Matthews, maybe Lindstrom or Bates, extend AJ, and we would have more than enough money. Let's see. That's a great point, but I think we agree it ain't really worth doing all that. We got Debo in the chat saying Big Low Country. Ben, great show. Shout out to D-Boy for popping in.
In the world, bro.
But yeah, so let's move down. So for the most part, after talking to you, I feel a lot better about our wide receiver room, especially looking at our options. Looks like Debo is also saying, I believe Ayuk will be a headache in this new Raheem culture. The pass catches we have now have already built a rapport with Kirk. That's a great point, man. That is an excellent point. So, again, the question for the chat is, how do you all feel about this roster? If you're feeling pretty good, leave a 1 in the chat. If you're kind of iffy, do me and Bo a favor and leave a 2. Moving on, again, we kind of talked about Kyle Pitts. So, again, let's just at least address it. What type of season are you expecting out of Kyle Pitts this year?
1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Just 6?
1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns.
I like that. So do you think he improves from his rookie season? Like, do you think he has a career year technically? Or do you think he kind of falls? Yeah.
I think so. I feel like for the simple fact that, they're announcing, I mean, he's been playing both positions this whole time, but it looks like he's really working on it, and there must be some new wrinkles that have been, implemented. But I think, first of all, nothing encourages a man to do better than the potential of getting paid, right? I mean, we've seen it over and over again. Nothing makes a man do better like getting a few $1 million or getting a lot of millions of dollars. And it's about that time. In the words of, I believe, Uncle Steve, looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. Shouts out to Manny Fresh. So, with that being said, now is the time. If he's going to show up and show out, now is the time to do it. Going into year 4, now we're going to legit see what he's made out of. Man, I'm seeing some crazy numbers in here. T. Terry said Pitts with 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. T. Dub says 12 touchdowns. So Kyle, man, y'all think Kyle Pitts going to get double-digit touchdown?
I mean, the way he looking in these videos, man. I mean, he looking dangerous. I mean, just his overall quickness. I mean, he's definitely moving as if he was a wide receiver. I mean, for him to move like this at his size is just absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, we see him here with Calvin Ridley, Georgia Boy, and George Pickens. I mean, to me, he might have had the best rep.
I don't know, man. George is look.
Man, see, in that 22 draft, speaking of Drake London, man, I wish we drafted Jordan Davis with that 8th pick and then came back around in the 2nd and got Pickens, man. That was my mock draft for the longest.
Who's the last kid in this rep?
Oh, the last one, who was that? Chris Henry.
Oh no, Chris Henry Jr. Yeah, he's
Where
on.
he at?
I don't know where he at. I don't know where he at.
Yeah, I don't think I heard of him. He in the league?
It's because I'm thinking that's I don't know if you remember Chris Henry that played for the Bengals. He tragically passed away. I think that's his son.
Yeah, it looked like he had Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So
Yeah, he's
yeah, hey, I'm with you. I'm thinking a big year. We see 12. To me, I think he's going to have a lot of success in the red zone. I think he's going to have a lot of touchdowns this season. I'm not too confident in the yards, but I mean, when you look at how Kirk Cousins targets his tight ends, I mean, I think he's going to have a lot of catches. He's going to have a lot of opportunities for yards. I mean, I'm right there with you at this point. I don't see why he can't have 1,000 yards. I just think 6 touchdowns is a little low.
That's low.
I mean, don't be wrong. I'll take it because I think he has 5 career touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can beat that this season with his first year with Kirk and Zach Robinson, I love it. So, at least we're on the same page. We expect him to look better with Kirk than he did with Desmond and I forgot the other guy's name. What was his name? Marcus Mariota or something like that.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota.
But yeah, so at least we're on the same page with the offense. For the most part, we feel pretty good about our pass catchers. We think the running back room we have is the best in the league, and we also think the quarterback room is the best in the league. Now let's talk about the line, man, because there's been a lot of controversy with this line, mainly at right tackle. So let's just dial in at right tackle real quick. How you feeling about Caleb McGarry, man?
I don't know. I feel like the run heavy offense really protected them. I'm eager to see. I'll put it to you like this right here. That's my biggest question mark of this whole roster is Caleb McGarry. And I'm going to tell y'all my biggest question is, will week 18 will Caleb McGarry be the starting right tackle? That's my question. Because I know that you look at the PFF numbers and it says he looks serviceable, but when it's bad, it's bad. It's bad. Like he legit looks like he's in quicksand sometimes. So I don't know if it's going to be like an injury or, if I'm not mistaken, I know he had gotten an extension like a couple of years ago, and I think this might be like the second year of his extension. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's my biggest question. My biggest question is Caleb McGarry.
Yeah, see, and I did a short video. I did a 4-minute drill on Caleb McGarry, man. I feel like he is the most underrated and disrespected player on our roster. So it's ironic that, he's the one player that has a star, on your depth chart. But man, I understand that he isn't the best pass blocker, but he's such a good run blocker. We like to run the ball, and he's serviceable as a tackle, especially if you get the ball out quickly. So to me, I think he's the least of our worries. I mean, I think this offense as a whole is solid, should be one of the best in the league. But to me, Caleb McGarry, and I guess I should include this too. Caleb McGarry playing next to Chris Lindstrom helps Chris Lindstrom be the type of player he is, in my opinion. I know they're close friends. They obviously came in together. I mean, to me, I just think that Caleb McGarry is – I think it's a narrative people saw his rookie season, his second season, and they've kept it with him his whole career, but I think he's vastly improved as a pass blocker.
Yeah, I think he got better, but I feel like I said, I remember last year we went and only threw the ball like 15 times, like 17 times, 19. You think we don't going to throw the ball, 17, 18 times with Kirk Cousins? I feel like that. I feel like it was, we weren't only trying to protect the quarterback, but I feel like we were trying to protect Caleb McGarry as well. Because, the less opportunities that you have to pass block, the less chances you're going to have of, getting draws burnt off.
Hey, that's a great point. That's a great point because as of today, Caleb McGarry's worst season, granted, it was his rookie season, but it was when he was playing with a pocket quarterback. So
Exactly.
you may be onto something. So when you look at the offensive line, though, you look at our right tackle position, do you think Caleb will start week 1, or do you think it will be a
Oh
camp?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Caleb. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Caleb gonna start. Yeah. He a lot. He a lot. Now
Mhm.
by the end of the season, we gonna see. But as of right now, yeah. I mean, I think he's earned that. He's earned that.
So we got Tyler Russell. He's asking about center. He's asking about Drew Doman. If you ask me, I think he's probably better than people think. That's the one thing about offensive lines. You know this, coach. If you don't hear much about him, it's a good thing.
Exactly.
So what's your take on Drew Doman going into the season?
I think, and shouts out to Tyler and Coach Christine, but I feel like it's one of those cases where, because he had a few bad snaps last year. Yeah, I feel he just needs to work on the snaps. I feel like that's a quarterback and center relationship issue. I feel like they get a few hundred reps in. That's something that could get resolved. And, it might be one of those cases where he may be short arming it because he's so focused on blocking. But he has to remember that he does have one of the best left guards or the best guards in the league beside him. So he needs to make sure that he does his first job first and take care of everything else later.
Yeah, to Larry's point, Doman was rated as a top 10 center in the NFL on PFF. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like top 3.
Yeah, he was up there. He was up there.
Yeah, he was definitely elite. So before we move on, man, first of all, appreciate everybody in the chat that's engaging. Appreciate everybody that's watching. I got big low country here talking some Falcons football. I'm curious, is Chris Lindstrom the most underrated player in the NFL? Because when people talk about Atlanta, they never talk about Chris Lindstrom, which in my opinion is our best player. So I already know you know all about Chris Lindstrom, but do you think he's one of the most underrated players?
I mean, man, offensive linemen are just underrated in general. Like, unless you're a generational talent like a Trent Williams or something like that, offensive linemen, they don't get no love. So, I mean, I feel like the fact that he got $100 million contract, he's getting all the love he needs in that regard.
Yeah.
He's being appreciated because he's getting $100 million. That's something that's tough, very hard to do, especially as a guard in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got a couple points before we move to the defense because I know that's what everybody want to talk about. We want to look at this defense and see how they'll shape up. But we got Larry from the Dixon way. He said McGarry cannot be the starting right tackle when Penix starts. And then to follow up, we have Winston saying that they'll probably move McGarry to left tackle. So what are your thoughts when you see that? I think they both make some good points. Because if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if he's going to be there by the time Penix starts. I mean, if it's a situation where, due to the circumstances, Penix has to come in. Jake, he's been playing left tackle for years. I don't know if they'll make that move. I think
but I think he's assuming that Matthew's going to retire, and then we plug in Caleb over there, and then go get a left tackle and put him at right tackle.
Put him at right tackle. I can see that. If it's a situation where Matthews retires, I could definitely see that. And a matter of fact, look for them to draft that next tackle next year. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, that was a great point from Winston. Definitely a step ahead. I can see that happening. So let's look at this defense, man. We're gonna look at the defense real quickly. We're gonna drop the link. We're gonna get everybody in here, man. But let's jump into the defense real quick. Like I said, appreciate everybody in the chat. The question for you all is, how do you feel about this roster? We got training camp just a week away, man. So we're gonna look at all the. I think a lot of the camp battles are going to be really on the defensive side. So when you look at our defensive ends, they're probably going to be playing that 5 technique and the 3-4. You got Zach Harrison, David Amiata, Grady Jarrett. Grady coming off that injury. Amiata's kind of been banged up, over the past couple of seasons. Do you think this will be our starting defensive lineup in that base 3-4 when we start the season?
Oh yeah. Zach Harrison
So,
came on strong last year. Ayamata, look, I mean, the same way we know it's gonna get cold in the wintertime, Ayamata's gonna miss 2 or 3 games. Like that's just something that you come to expect. I feel like, which is why it was such a big emphasis to get Rukaroro. But yeah, Zach Harrison, Ayamata, and Grady Jarrett. I feel like that's your starting defensive line whenever this season comes, and it's gonna be nasty.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. I know one player that you talked about a lot is Rukaroro. How do you feel about him? Like, do you think that he can be like a rotational player? Do you think he could start? Like, I mean, you see him here. I mean, one thing was for sure, he had violent hands coming in. Now he's looking like he's adding them hands with his athleticism. I mean, can he be a guy that maybe, shoots up to that starting spot in camp? I mean, he was a second-round pick.
Yeah, it was a second-round pick, but I mean, you got Grady Jarrett in there. I mean, he's not going to take Grady's spot. On Yamada, that's supposed to be your anchor guy. That's the guy that you're planning to get double teams. Zach Harrison, I think he's earned his spot. I feel like Rook, it's just like I was saying earlier in the show, where you're drafting for depth now instead of drafting for need. And I feel like maybe next year or the year after that he's going to be a starter, but I feel like he's going to be heavy in the rotation. And I think he's going to lead the team in tackles for loss because he's going to be coming in fresh all the time.
Yeah, he should. I mean, if he's matched up, so I guess before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what position do you think he's going to play? I think one of the reasons why he went in a second is because he kind of showed some versatility, and he could play multiple techniques in his defense. So, would you line him up in front of a center? You want him in between the guard and the tackle? Like, where do you think he's going to be most effective?
I can see him lined up from anything from the 1 to the 5. Like he's that kind of guy. His RAS score, I think he was top 15 in defensive tackles all time. Yeah, all time. He was his relative athletic score. It was top 15. You put his numbers beside Grady Jarrett's in college, and they're pretty much identical. But the biggest difference is that Grady Jarrett played with some people who are a lot more talented than what Rook had in Clemson. And then,
Right.
the biggest knock on Grady was that, they said he was too short. But I mean, Rook, he's sitting here at 6'4". I mean, he has everything that you need. He has the length, he has the speed. The only thing that he's putting together now is what you see where he's working on there as far as the technique. I mean, this is another kid that we had that came late to the party. Like he started playing football at a late age, and
Yeah.
Look at it. I mean, he's looking like a natural out here. So, I mean, the biggest thing with this Raheem Morris slash these Dan Quinn defenses, like they like to have these attacking defensive tackles. They don't really care too much about these guys who just hold up blocks for the linebackers, kind of like Mike Smith used to push. Whenever he was here, like we get big guys like Paul Soliai who just take up the blocks, and we'll have our linebackers clean it up. Nah,
Yeah.
these guys, I mean, bro, like you watch those highlights of him in game, like he shoots gaps so fast. I mean, and it's not a situation where he just gets back there. He cleans his plate. he gets back there, and then he also gets guys to the ground. It's going to be scary. I don't think people know what's coming. I'm telling y'all, I feel like he's going to be better than Grady Jarrett.
Wow. I mean, wow. It's just that's hard to say. I don't know if his technique. Well, are you saying that based off of him as a prospect, or do you think he will benefit by learning from Grady Jarrett to then become better than Grady?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like Grady's
I
going
can
to be
see
his
that.
mentor, and
Right.
he's going to help. Everything that Grady learned from the people that were here before him. As far as like the Jonathan Babineaus, he's going to pass that knowledge on down. And I just feel like physically, I feel like he's a little bit more explosive than Grady. So I mean, he has the
Oh, yeah.
potential to be better than Grady Jarrett. He's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger. And he's getting put in the same system that Grady Jarrett's put in. I feel like he has the potential to be better.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. We're going to talk about player comps real quick. Do you think he could be like a Fletcher Cox?
He could be. He could very well be.
Those tall defensive tackles that can kind of move up and down the line. They beat you with the quickness, the strength.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Turn strength, turn speed into power, turn power into speed. Beat you in a lot of different ways, all up and down the defensive line. Yes, he is him. He is him.
Hey, I definitely love it. Hey, I can see it. Like when I watch his tape, you said it perfectly, man. He's still raw, but he was still able to, if nothing else, take up blockers. That's something that he could definitely do. He does it quickly. I think one thing we'll see a lot out of this defensive line is a lot of stunts to try to create mismatches, one-on-one mismatches. With Ebiketie, with guys like Braylon Trice. So when we kind of look at the rest of the edges, did you have something?
Oh no, I didn't have that.
Oh, so whenever you look at the rest of the edges, you got you got Zoe Carter. You excited about that?
Yeah, man, because I feel like back in the day, the Atlanta Falcons, we were like a girl who wore ponytails too much, bro. We didn't have no edges. We didn't have no edges. Stephen Means was our edge, Mark. So you go and you look at what you have now in your Arnold Ebiketies, in your guys like Lorenzo Carters, your Braylon Trices of the world. I mean, you have guys with the pedigree that can legitimately come in and get the job done. So I'm definitely excited to see what D'Angelo Malone is still in there. He kind of fell back in the depth chart a little bit because he didn't fit Dean P's scheme, or he didn't fit the scheme of Ryan Nielsen. So moving forward, we're going to kind of see what D'Angelo Malone is capable of as well.
So when you look at situational pass rushers, who do you think is going to be out there? I think it's safe to say AK going to be out there. Who do you think is going to be the other guy? You think it's going to be still Zoe? They're going to give it to Malone, Braylon Trice? Like, who you thinking?
Yeah, they're going to mix it up between Zoe and Braylon Trice. Zoe and Braylon Trice are going to be your strong side guys. And then,
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, like, don't be surprised if you don't see Troy Anderson coming off that edge.
It would be wise.
Don't be surprised
if
you
you
don't see it. Because, we know that he has problems in space. We all seen the clips from training camp last year. And, during the games, it's like he's fast and he's athletic, but he's a straight line kind of guy. You talk about, pursued and tackling people in space. He's not necessarily that guy, but when it comes to just running in a straight line, I feel like that might be your he has the perfect body for it. So, I would at least try him out.
Yeah, you definitely want to move him around, right? You could down there put him at safety at this point. Put him as a strong, a big nickel safety, a big nickel. I mean, you got to just find a way to get some type of value out of him, man. I agree. A lot of people have jumped onto that bandwagon of, hey, at this point, put him as an edge. Just let him get to the quarterback. But before we go too deep into the linebackers, Rex has a question for you. He says, any chance we see anything from Eddie Goldman this season? Does he make the team?
I don't think so. I'm not getting excited about Eddie Goldman until when's week 1, September 10th. Whenever week 1 and I see Eddie Goldman on the back of a jersey on the field, that's when I get excited about Eddie Goldman. I don't trust Eddie. I'm sorry. He that cousin that I always call and say who all over there and don't come. That's Eddie Goldman.
Man, he never show up,
He'll
man.
never show up.
It gets to the point where you stop inviting him, and then he wouldn't get mad. So,
And then he get mad at you. Exactly.
right.
So nah, ain't nobody fooling with Eddie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like he came back. He came back to get cut.
Exactly.
He came back, and he wants the Falcons to cut him so he can make his little money and go on about his business.
Exactly.
But that's a great question because we've seen him retire twice now as a Falcon. Can it be 3 times? Can it be 3 times? So looking at the linebackers, man, I think this is going to be a good camp battle. You talked about Troy Anderson potentially moving him around. ESPN has him listed as a starting inside linebacker in that 3-4. Do you think there's any chance he starts over Nate Landman?
That's a tough question. I think there's a chance he could. I think there's a chance.
I mean, because technically, it's kind of hard to remember it now, but technically, he did beat out Nate Lamison last camp, even though it was hard to believe once you see them both on the field. So I know it's a new regime. Everyone's probably gonna have a fresh shot at the starting spot. I mean, Troy over Nate after the season Nate just put up.
Nate was balling out, boy. Nate, I mean, textbook linebacker play.
I'm talking about old school. He was like a new school Keith Brooken. I mean, not even that. I mean, to me, he probably hit harder than Keith Brooken ever hit. So
you're playing some ball. I mean, yeah, I think Troy has a chance, but I mean, if it was me, I would call him the shots. After what I saw last year, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at Nate, but Troy's so athletic, man. You want to get him on the field some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Got to. Yeah, you definitely got to, man. And I think so. Maybe there's a world where we see Nate Landman start in that base defense, so he's out there on early downs, just like we rotate defensive linemen. Maybe we can potentially rotate Troy Anderson in on passing situations. Because I feel like we kind of did something like that in 2016 with Campbell, Debo. Who was the other linebacker that year?
I know you had Campbell. Yeah, Debo.
It wasn't Mike Peterson was long gone, right?
Yeah, he was gone. I know Spoon was there, but he had got hurt.
Because I feel like Campbell wasn't out there for nickel situations. That 2016 year.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that something you can see that's possible? That okay, Nate does start. He's out there for early downs, but you bring in Troy Anderson and match up kind of with tight ends and running backs.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, it's like I would be careful, doing that because, you kind of want your guys to get a feel for the game. But I could definitely see, Troy getting in there on like long yardage situations. Okay, so wow, it was Paul Warlow was on that team.
It was Paul Warlow. No, but I feel like did he not get injured that season?
Yeah, I think he got hurt. So the linebackers were Paul Warlow, Philip Wheeler,
Yeah.
Deion Jones, Spoon, Devondre
Wow.
Campbell, and Leroy Reynolds.
Wow. We had a solid little core.
They had a good little core.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like maybe it was Warlow that was coming off for passing situations then.
I don't remember Warlow. I don't remember seeing Warlow on the field that often though.
Yeah, I feel like he got injured.
I think he
I
did.
feel like I feel like Warlow got injured. Help us out, chat. Who was there that 2016 season? And then how do y'all feel about potentially rotating the linebackers? But yeah, I definitely don't remember him in the Super Bowl at all.
Nah, he wasn't out there. Yeah, that was Campbell.
Yeah,
Campbell and Jones
yeah.
was running that show.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, man, that was a solid group, man. Oh, and that reminds me, I got a good question for you at the end. But or actually, Bumpy, I'll ask you now. It's kind of off script, but do you think that Raheem Morris is going to build his team closer to the 2016 Atlanta Falcons, or do you think he's going to build it closer to the 2022 Rams? Again, we've got to remember he won the Super Bowl with that roster. And I was thinking about this earlier. I was prepping for my Steve Weiss interview tomorrow, and I was thinking, like, dang, like, which direction is he going in? When you look at the offense, the defense, it kind of almost feels like the Dan Quinn defense.
It does. It feels a lot like that Dan Quinn defense. But the thing is that I feel like those teams were very similar.
Yeah, they were actually.
Yeah, those teams were very similar.
I think the biggest difference was the Rams. They made some moves. Well, obviously they had Aaron Donald, but like you said, we kind of have our Aaron Donald with Grady, but they made that big move for Ramsey. And I think that's kind of like the one thing we don't have.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you got AJ.
Yeah, you got AJ.
He
we'll
ain't no
get to him.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. But when you consider the scheme, you don't really even need an AJ Terrell in that cover 3 scheme.
Yeah,
So
that cover 3 shell.
Yeah, so
that's perfect for AJ. I feel like AJ's going to thrive in that defense.
Hey, so let's talk about it. We got AJ Terrell. We know what he's going to bring. We got Clark Phillips. Let's start with AJ Terrell, man. We know he's going to be there. What are you expecting out of him in that cover 3 shell?
Yeah, I mean that cover 3 shell. I feel like he's going to play to his strengths a little bit better. He'll get a chance to actually keep everything in front of him. AJ kind of has a tendency to panic a little bit. He doesn't get like the penalties like Robert Alford used to, but whenever he has his back turned to the ball, he does tend to panic sometimes. We run that cover 3 shell, and he actually does that speed turn 15 yards down the field or 20 yards down the field, opposed to doing it right off the line of scrimmage. I'm more comfortable with that opposed to him having his back turned 5 yards away from the ball. I'm sorry, 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, trying to keep from getting stacked by that cornerback. I feel like he's a really, really good cornerback, and I feel like this is his best opportunity to get that big deal this year.
So because we got to remember AJ hasn't had an interception in 2 years, bro, which is crazy to think. As highly as we rank him, he's not doing the one thing we need out of him, which is turning the ball over. What does it take for the Falcons to resign him, man? Like, is it interceptions? Is it the shutting guys down? Do you want him to shadow guys more? Like, what do you need out of him to get the next contract?
That's tough.
Is it all? Is it everything? Is it all those answers?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of everything. Me myself is like as a defensive coach, I understand how hard it is to take to get takeaways and take the ball away. Especially the types of situations AJ was in. I mean, we got to consider all of the circumstances. Our offense went 3-and-out a lot of times. That defense was on the field for a whole bunch. In a lot of situations, we didn't have the best pass rush. I mean, we had a little bit better of a pass rush last year, but the year before that, we didn't have the best pass rush. So it's like I can't necessarily not AJ for not getting a pick, but I mean, I mean, I feel like a lot of things come into play when it comes to getting a contract extension, like leadership off the field. Like, what are you doing during the off season? What do your teammates think about you? Um, do you do what you say you're going to do? Then, you have your own field stuff, like, you know, locking down your side of the field, locking down your third if we're running cover three, making sure everybody else on the field know what they're supposed to do, communicating on the field. At the end of the day, the interceptions, that's the icing on the cake. But the thing is that if you do all of those things, those aforementioned things, the interceptions and the pass deflections are going to come. So, I guess just making sure that you check all. If he checks all his boxes, he'll get that long-term extension with the Falcons.
Yeah, I feel like if we had to sign him today, I think he kind of earned it. Maybe, team building wise, you don't do it, especially, Raheem Morris has experience with DBs. You got Jerry Gray, you got even Jimmy Lake. All these guys have experience with DBs, so they may think, hey, we could put anyone at cornerback. It doesn't make sense to give a guy $20 million. So I think that's just going to be the reality for AJ, man, is it doesn't really make sense for the Falcons to invest that much money in him. I think it's a very unfortunate reality. If that is true, would you trade AJ Terrell before the season ended?
I mean, if it's a situation where I know we're not bringing him back, I mean, yeah, I would, but I would bring AJ back. A lot of people forget, like, whenever, like, we were going through that whole transition period, and we traded Matt Ryan away, and we didn't have like a legit star in Atlanta. Like, AJ Terrell was the face of the franchise. So it's like
He really was.
I feel like you. I mean, you owe him that. At least a re-signing. Like, you owe him something. Like, nobody else was there to step up. It was AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett. Those were the two faces of the franchise, the two Atlanta boys. So I mean, I feel like I wouldn't trade him. I would. If it's a situation where he's not coming back, and you talked about it, and he said he don't want to come back, I would try to trade him where he would want to go. But my main goal would be to bring him back.
Yeah. Now, in the perfect world, you got to bring him back, man. He's from Atlanta. Like you said, he's held it down for us, man. He's held it down. So it'll be interesting because a couple of things can go. I guess I should say things can go in two different directions. He can actually probably play well in this scheme, like you're saying, and his price just keeps going up. So it's just like that's a good thing for the Falcons if he's playing well, but then it's also a bad thing when contract comes up. Because he's going to get at least $20 million, and he may prove it this year. He may prove that he's worth it, man. He definitely may prove he's worth it. And speaking of prove it is asking for who though? For who? So NFL is never player for player. It's never like that easy. So it's no telling, but maybe you create an opportunity for Clark Phillips. You create an opportunity for a young corner. With that said, Clark Phillips, he's getting the opportunity, and he's going to be in the camp battle with. They don't have it lit. Oh, here we go. He's going to be in the camp battle for the most part with Mike Hughes, D. Alford, maybe even a little Kevin King. When you look at those four corners, man, who do you think is going to win cornerback number 2?
Oh yeah, I think that's Clark Phillips all day. I know a lot of people worried about Clark Phillips' size. I mean, I think people forget that he gave Drake London everything that he can handle whenever they were in college. Drake London 6'5", 6'6" if he stands on a quarter. So I really feel like it's one of those cases where I'm not worried about the size. We had Optimus Grimes here who locked down a Megatron, some years back. So I'm not worried about the size.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, and that's something I've said multiple times. A lot of people want to stick him into the slot because they see his height, but like you said, man, he played a lot of corner outside at what was it, Utah State?
But Utah,
Yeah, for Utah. So I mean, he's an outside corner. He's a little undersized, but man, he got heart, man, and he is well. According to Raheem Morris, he has elite movement. He's showing elite athleticism. His agility is probably one of the best on the team, and I think when you add up all those things, man, that equals an opportunity to start outside, especially because last season when I know AJ went down, the corners. Oh, Jeff Okudah. When Jeff Okudah went down, Clark Phillips was thrown into the fire, and he was solid. He was solid as a rookie. But let's catch up with the chat, man. You got a lot of shots out in here, man. So
what's up,
y'all gotta
Nando?
forgive me for that. I would say we got a lot of people in here, but yeah, like you said, you got Nando saying, "What in the world, Bo?"
What in the world, Bo?
I know we had a lot of people come in showing you love, man. I hate that I lost some of the comments, but
and shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to everybody came on to chop it up with us tonight, man. We just going over the roster and doing some looking and peeking. Also, make sure that y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button for us. We promise you we're gonna dance at your wedding one day. And make sure you share the channel with your friends and family. And y'all make sure that y'all go over to Marq Chaney. That's spelled MARQ. Q is in 112. Slim Mike Q to run. Y'all make sure that y'all go to Marq Chaney's channel. Go follow him. Subscribe to his channel on YouTube. He's on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. Great content. Y'all make sure that y'all check my boy out, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So, again, you think Clark's going to win the outside job. How do you feel about Mike Hughes, man? Because before the season started, or I guess before free agency, I thought he was going to be cut. I thought Zoe was going to be cut, and I thought Mike Hughes was going to be cut. I definitely thought Taylor Heineke was going to be cut. You think Mike Hughes makes the team? If he does, do you think he's going to be the nickel, or are you going to give that to D. Alford?
I'm getting that D. I roll with D. Alford on that. I feel like D deserved it. Mike Hughes. I mean, he's pretty good. He's serviceable, but I feel like D deserved this opportunity. Basically, from the way I seen him play last year, he was in a position to make some plays. He didn't fully make them, but I think I'm gonna roll with D. Alford.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's an easy decision to me. You're starting Clark and AJ outside, D. Alford inside, and you work in Mike Hughes. I think Mike Hughes makes the team because of his special team ability. He kind of like that emergency punt returner. Hopefully, they don't put him back at punt returner or kick returner, but he can be like that emergency guy. So I think he'll make the team in that fashion. So now to the biggest debate on the defense. And it's Richie Grant, man. What in the world, Bo?
What in the world, Bo? What are we gonna do with Richie, man?
Hey, we got people saying cut him. To me, I think he has value on this team, especially, the Falcons, they drafted him in the second round a couple seasons ago. So let me ask you this. You got DeMarco Hellams, you got Richie Grant. Who you putting out there week 1, man?
I'm going with DeMarco.
You got to.
I'm going with DeMarco. Like, look, it's a new look offense. It's a new look defense. I'm finna go. Unless it's a situation where Richie Grant just shows me something in training camp and in these practices that I'm like, oh, okay, this was a coaching issue. This wasn't a player error. This was a coaching error. Like, unless Richie Grant like legitimately jumps off the field, he jumps off of the whiteboard. I got to go with DeMarco. Marco Hellams, he was making plays in the preseason. Did he average like an interception a game last year?
It seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, shoot, like why? Why are we faking the funk? I understand that was preseason and everything, but he was making plays in the regular season too. So, I mean, yeah, let's try the young Thundercat. I mean, the only thing is we don't know if it's DeMarco Hellams or if it's Jack Spade because I've never seen both of them in the same room at the same time. I think DeMarco.
Hey, I've been thinking the same thing. I swear.
Shouts out to Jack, man. One time for the fan. Y'all make sure y'all check our boys out over there, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
Hey,
we
Jack,
definitely we got a lot of.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't saying nothing.
Oh, my bad. I was just gonna say, yeah, man. Jack, we finna drop the link in a minute. So feel free to come on if you want to.
Yeah. So I got 2 questions for Lo. I'm gonna drop the link. I think the first one, because you just reminded me, it could be a coaching thing. So how'd you feel about the Falcons losing Ryan Nielsen? Because if you ask me, I was really excited about bringing him back.
Man,
How'd you feel about it?
I hated losing Ryan Nielsen, man. That was my guy. I mean, the defense was actually attacking. Opposed to where we've been in the past, where like we're literally catching guys, we're letting guys run into us. The defense was actually attacking. So the fact that we lost him, he took that job in Jacksonville. I don't know if it was a situation where I'm pretty sure Raheem just had this guy that he wanted to roll with in Jimmy Lake, and I mean.
True.
Jimmy Lake, from the research that I've done and some of the coaches that I talked to, they said that, man, he's legit. He's put a lot of guys in the NFL with the Trent McDuffies and the Wilsons and all these other guys. But that was in the secondary. I mean, the biggest issue that we have wasn't really in the secondary. The biggest issue that we had was up front in the front seven. So, yeah, I hate it. I hate it that we lost Nelson, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bittersweet thing because, I'm down here in Jacksonville now. So, I still get to see him, especially I'm excited to see him with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen.
Man, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
You saw he changed his name, Josh Allen. He's no longer Josh Allen. He's Josh Hines Allen. So
I saw that.
But yeah. So I think we both agree, like it looks like a lot of people agree that losing Ryan Nielsen hurt. But let me ask you about the guy we added last season in Jesse Bates, man. Is he the best free agent pickup ever in Falcons history?
I don't know about that one, Bo. I mean, because you got Michael Turner.
Give me your top 3. Okay, yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, forgot about Turner.
You got Michael Turner.
Yeah.
Michael Turner, he finished second in the MVP race.
He did. First year.
I would put Jesse in there. I'll put Jesse
Alex Mack. Oh, no, wait, but Alex Mack. We traded for Mack? Or did we sign him?
I think we signed Mack.
I mean, either way, Alex Mack is definitely one of the best additions to this roster, to the Falcons ever.
Yeah. And then, I mean, don't forget about, but we traded for Abraham, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We traded for Abraham. I know we traded for Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Alex Mack signed a 4-year deal.
Okay, so we picked Alex Mack up.
Right. Yeah, so he's in that conversation. Alex Mack, Turner.
He's definitely in that conversation. Man, but yeah, man, Jesse Bates is up there. Because, I mean, that should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, and the crazy thing is that this is his first year working with this defense. Just imagine, if we would have kept Ryan Nielsen and he would have been in the same scheme, the same defense for 3 years, it would have been crazy. So it's like now, I'm, to be honest with you, I'm kind of worried about it because it's like he's going to have to recreate himself in this defense. And
right.
I don't know exactly how that's going to, be working out.
I almost feel like, though, that's why it was important for them to bring back Jerry Gray. Maybe Jerry Gray did more behind the scenes that, we don't realize. And that's why it was easier to let Ryan Nielsen walk. Do you think with bringing Jerry Gray back, the rapport he built with AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, do you think that can continue to grow? Or to your point, do you think he has to kind of relearn the defense again?
I'm hoping that Jared Gray can kind of help facilitate that. Since he was here before and already cultivated that relationship. But man, it's one of those things, man. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna drop the link, man. Definitely, everybody is welcome. We try to get everybody up on the screen, man, so we can continue this conversation. So, I mean, when you look at the roster, I mean, I guess we could look at the special teams. I think it's safe to say Ray is going to be our kick returner. That's why they brought him in. When you look at the roster, though, like I know you in the beginning, you said, "Hey, I'm feeling pretty good, especially now that we got this quarterback." Now that we went through the whole roster, we had our coaches meeting. Shout out to the chat for guiding us through it. How do you feel about this roster now? You still high on it?
Yeah, I'm still pretty high on it. I think it's one of those cases where there's a few guys who, and a few people that I'm worried about. Like I said, the Caleb McGarrys of the world. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about, the safety situation with Richie Grant and DeMarco Hellams. That's something I'm really worried about. But I mean, there's a few things that I'm really, really confident about, like the quarterback position. I really feel good about Kirk Cousins. But if for any reason Kirk Cousins can't go, I feel really good about Jesse Bates. I'm sorry, about Michael Penix. I think about the quarterback of defense, but
Right.
I feel great about the running backs. I feel great about the defensive line. It's like there's so many. I feel like the pros really outweigh the cons with this roster.
Yeah, nah, I'm with you, man. Top to bottom, you look at the coaching staff, man. It feels like we have a good group of guys. I'm trying to post the link. It's not working. Did you get it? I just sent it in the private chat. See if you can post that and so people can join.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Top to bottom, I feel like we got the right guy. We got the first black coach in Falcons history. We brought in Kirk. I mean, I think we got all the tools to be successful. So I'm interested to hear what the rest of the fan base has to say. I mean, off top, what's your record prediction? I don't know if you've done your schedule review yet, but how good do you think this roster is?
I'm thinking 10-7.
10-7.
I'm thinking 10-7. That's on road. I'm rolling 10-7.
So backstage, we got William Amy. He's been very, very vocal on this roster. So we're gonna bring William Amy onto the screen. William, how do you feel? Oh, there we go.
Oh, you good? I'm back in. I froze.
You here? Oh no,
Yeah,
no, you good. Hey, well, first of all, man, how you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Still in good spirits. Appreciate y'all having me on the panel.
Oh, absolutely, man. So I just asked Lo his record prediction. Give us your record prediction, and then give us your thoughts on this roster, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say we could be 11-5 or 12-5. This is the reason why I say that while our roster right now, we in the playoff bound because we added Kirk Cousins in free agency. We had added depth on the outside linebackers, and I think a little bit on the edge to get Grady Jarrett and David Automata breathing. So we really gonna rely on the young rookies like Darlis, Aurora. Who else we drafted in the late round? I'm trying to remember. Even a linebacker, we could probably use him as an edge rusher too out of North Dane. What his name is?
JD Bertrand.
JD Birkin. We could use him and put him as a Sam line because you never know. Because me, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think Lorenzo Carter gonna be cut And if
Mm.
Arnold Ebiketie don't produce between round preseason, so throw some flashes, he can hold his own. I think them two on the bubble for me. For
Mm.
me personally, because with all the games that we lost from Arizona, Minnesota, it's a lot of not holding, containing, like finish they stunts and kind of the bad angle of tackling at the wrong time when quarterbacks bootleg out and scramble for extra yards. So my thing is Lorenzo Carter got to step up, and I think Arnold Ebiketie got to step up for me, man, because they veterans. I understand this is business, but I feel like some of these rookies we got, like Brandon Choice, could step up. Darlin Smith could trying to knock on that roster. Now, my main concern on the defense really for me is the secondary. Outside of Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell, I'm going with DeMarco Hellams, but my main gonna be like that nickel back position in the CB2. I understand Clark Phillips the third. He's more like I see him more like a press man coverage corner. He's not a man to man. He's having trouble with a guard like Chris Olave, like more slot receivers to me. But if our front seven could contain explosive plays, like get to the quarterback and hold the linebackers down, hold the running backs down out of the backfield, we be good, man. Cause my main concern is that secondary around the nickels and the corners too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a great point, man. Hey, backstage, we got one time for the fan about to join the stage. Thank you, Jack, for taking a break from college football 25 to join the show. I'm gonna pass the question to you, bro.
What up? What
What's
up?
what's your record prediction, and who would you start at strong safety? Richie or DeMarco?
Oh man, record prediction. I'm pretty much Mr. Falcon fan over here on one time.
No, don't do it. No.
Say we'll lose a game, but no, I got more than 10 wins. You know what I'm saying? I think this team is definitely much better than what we've seen last season. And of course, on paper this season, we've gotten much stronger in some areas that fans wanted to see improvement in. And I think the fans would be excited. We got to get through those first 4 games, and then we can get, probably, get rolling looking at the schedule with Carolina, Tampa, Seattle, some of those games. And then, of course, at the end of the set schedule, Denver, Minnesota, the Chargers, and, so on and so on. But safety position, I'm probably looking at. I ain't gonna lie, man. Probably have to look at Rishi again. Just
Mm.
that final look with, Coach has mentioned um, about the safety position, and people want to see DeMarco out there. Now, it's Jesse Bates. You know what I'm saying? So these guys got to get better. In their own individual shoes. I mean, DeMarco Hellams going into his second year. Richie Grant, we drafted him high in the second round a couple years ago to make an impact. And I think him beside Jalen Hawkins definitely didn't work out well, and then fans wanted to see a change. We brought in Jesse Bates, and we figured that was going to help Richie, but we still saw some of the things last year with Richie with one-on-one coverage, and you saw what happened with the Arizona game, and the tight end called him out after the game saying that was easy. Tampa Bay paid out in another tight end that took advantage of Richie too as well at times during the game. But these players got to develop. Richie's still young. He's not 30 years old trying to get better. This kid's only like 23, 24. So give Richie another shot. I think this is the final year. Is this the final year of the contract for Richie?
I
Yeah,
believe so.
yeah.
Yeah. This last. So this is something to look at that, if he can't make an impact this year, he could be out the door. But I think some of the positions we're looking at in next year's draft, that tackle position because of Jake Matthews' age, the safety position, what Richie Grant cannot do, another wide receiver added to the roster. There's a couple positions I'm looking at the draft next year. Like, the Falcons would definitely be adding to these areas. But I see a much improved roster. I'm over 10 wins, and I'll be there every game. So I'm a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan, man.
Hey, Jack. So for the people that may not know you, please introduce yourself and what you're able to do with the Rise Up Tour, man. Just take a second to let the people know what you got going on.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm Jack Spade. Pretty much one half of One Time for the Fan. I got my co-host Terry T. Will for my ATL Sports too as well. T. Will's a he's a great guy, man. So big shout to Terry. Big shout to Bodie too as well. Another podcast, One Time for the Fan, and Miss Carey too as well with One Time for the Fan. Also big shout to Chase from DFU. But with One Time for the Fan, we have our shows every Sunday night, Wednesday nights, Friday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights at 8. Friday mornings at 9 a.m. for breakfast with One Time for the Fan. We have a lot of special guests that we bring on from time to time to come talk Falcons football with us, from fans to media to anybody we can get who's just a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan who can just, engage the audience with what the Falcons could be doing this season. Now, when it comes to the Rise Up Tour fan club, it was pretty much an away game travel group that me and my friend started about 7 years ago. And pretty much we've grown to having over close to 1,400 members now, years later. We have a strong administration team too, as well, of people that really help fans, get situated out of town when they go travel for away games. We put on events, we put on meet and greets, we put on social gatherings, we put on we provide an Atlanta type of atmosphere on the road. So if you're going to Denver this year, if you're going to Vegas this year, if you're going to Minnesota this year, wherever you're going away from Atlanta to go see the Falcons play, the Rise of Tour fan club kind of provides that family atmosphere, kind of like if you're back in the band. So we're all tourists at the end of the day. We're going to Vegas to go see the Falcons play. But if you want to hang with Falcon fans on the level of Thursday night, what are you guys doing? You guys eating dinner somewhere? You guys at a club? You guys at a lounge? We invite people out. We also have a little private events too as well for our Rise Up Tour fan club members, tailgates, bus trips. We have a train ride to New Orleans coming up that is put out right now. 60 seats sold. So we have availability on that for the train ride to New Orleans. We have a bus trip to Carolina. We have a bus trip to Tampa. We just came off of our Sun and Fun cruise
Yeah.
couple days ago. We took over 150 Falcon fans to the Bahamas.
Next one scheduled already.
Yeah, we have the next one scheduled for next year too as well. So the Rise Up Tour, we've been doing this for a while now for fans. And like my friend tells me, man, Jack, you can go into this to another city and buy a ticket and go in the game and just go home. But we don't want to do that. We want to bring fans together. We want fans to feel that Atlanta vibe on the road. And it's picking up now. It's going in the right direction where fans know about the Rise Up Tour fan club. Our parties, Country, one of our administrators and good friend here, Country, you've seen it in New Orleans, in London. We threw a party in London last year.
Crazy.
It don't matter where the Falcons play. They can play on the moon. We're gonna throw a party on the moon. I don't know how we're gonna get everybody there, but we're gonna throw a party. It doesn't matter where the Falcons will play. When they leave that Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Rise Up Tour fan club will be there. So if you're going to Vegas, Tyler Russell says, see you in Vegas. Man, we got events from Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Then we got the tailgate already set up in Vegas for Monday. So it's you got to plan stuff months and weeks in advance. You just can't go out there the week before and say we're going to do this. A lot of these places, countries, where I'm still trying to get Philly situated. Philly's like, Atlanta, no, nope, gotta go.
They ain't trying to help. They ain't trying to help nobody.
They know. I mean, some cities have, that strong presence of the fan base that only wants to deal with the home crowd. Philly's one of them. New Orleans is kind of another one too as well. But when the Falcon fans show up, we show out. We're growing in numbers on the road too as well. A lot of fans are saying that, hey, we hear you guys on TV. We hear you guys making chants and making noises. Yeah, that's the Falcon fans. We're pretty deep on the road now. So we're trying to show the NFL, we're trying to show other NFL teams that the Falcons are a strong fan base, not only at the Mercedes-Benz, but what we can do on the road. And that's it, man. The Rise Up Tour fan club is everything. So big shout out to all the administrators. Big shout out to the team. Big shout out to the membership team, the digital social media team, everybody from the Rise Up Tour who helps put everything together. We can't thank you enough, man. So thank you all. It's going to be a great season. On the field, the Falcons will win. Off the field, we're going to win too as well.
And I do want to let y'all know something else as well. While we go to all of these different cities, if you play golf, make sure that you hit us up because I'm going to be beating Jack all over the country this year.
I shot a 50-40.
I'm gonna be beating Jack all over the country. It don't matter where we're at. I'm gonna be whooping
Hard
up
up.
on him.
Hard up. Hold on now. Where's my?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. If you do play golf, I mean, Philadelphia. I'm not teeing off in Philly because that's going to be kind of difficult to handle with the parties and stuff. But Carolina, teeing off in Carolina. We'll be teeing off in Tampa. We'll be teeing Vegas for a lot of people that like the golf. I mean, we're going to Vegas this year, and then Denver too as well. I was looking at some golf courses in Denver for the November game. So, some of these sceneries and areas that you're going to be in to tee off and then look behind you and you got the mountains behind you, or if you're in Tampa, there's the beach right there. New Orleans, they got the gators that sit along the banks when you're teeing off. So these are going to be some interesting courses to play on. Country, remember, in New Orleans, they got the gators along the water. So if your ball gets in the water, you know the golf rules. You got to go get the ball.
You gotta go get the ball. I mean, me, I've dealt with gators my whole life, so I ain't worried about no gators.
Jeez.
Now you old city boy, you might have issues with it.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of those. Hey, country, you want to come help me out over here?
All right.
But playing golf is also that's a professional sport, man. And when you're around some of those golfers from other cities or just other areas, country. We was golfing in Powder Springs the other day, and there's some millionaires out there on the course. You never know who you're gonna run into. You know what I'm saying? So we ran into Falcon fans too as well when we was playing in College Park, and it's big. Matter of fact, one of the Falcon fans who we ran into, country, is a fan of your podcast. But matter of fact, when you a little bit upset about the tee times because we was 10 minutes behind, and then he turned around, he looked like, oh shit, hey, that's that guy Big Country, ain't it? So we were good. We were good, but we was glad that if it was another golfer, he could have been upset about us starting our tee time late. But when he turned around and saw Country, oh, you guys can tee off whenever you want. Don't worry.
Oh, Lord.
It's good that Country saved it there. When he asked me what was the tee time, I said 10:08, and he looked down at his watch. We like, we're 10:15. I'm looking at the group of four like, oh shit, this is gonna be bad. But Country saved the day, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, as always, man. Hey, that's
golf. We gotta get you out to come play some golf, man.
Yeah, it's about that time, man. I think I'm getting to the age where I need to mature and get out on the green, man. So, hey, best believe, man. You already know. Hey, I'm planning on making one of them trips, one of them away games. I'm gonna get out there with y'all, man. I already got the Nike polos ready.
Okay,
man. I got plenty in the closet. So,
hey, ain't nothing wrong.
Different cities, you get to bring out your swag. If you're going to Minnesota, I know Falcon fans wear that winter gear.
Yeah, got to pull out the North Face.
Sheesh.
Right. Put a North Face for the winter golf joint.
I mean, I got some pretty cool winter golf gear. I can't wait to break out. I got some Falcons on there too as well. But when I went shopping for some golf stuff the other day, I went to Amazon. I said, let me type in Falcons golf gear just to see what's popping up. Falcons got a whole damn section of golf gear on their merchandise shop. So it's big when you're on the road. You never know, man. Dave Archer, if you're listening. Rich McKay, if you're listening, you want to golf, you want to shoot a 9 on, out there in Tampa, let me know now. We'll get shot down the course now. Let me know.
Hey, that's definitely good to know. Hey, William, we still got you here?
Big shout to William Amy, too, man. He's also with the Rise Up Tour fan club. He's going to be traveling to Philly with us. I think he's going to Vegas, too, as well. But a lot of fans who's traveling on the road this year, the Rise Up Tour fan club. Google, social media, Facebook, Instagram. Just type in the Rise Up Tour fan club.
Hey, well, that's Jack, the top dog from the Rise Up fan tour. Y'all tap in, man. Y'all tap in. So my question to you, and I'll start with Big Low. I was going to throw it to William first, but it looks like he's backstage taking care of some stuff. If there was one guy, actually looked like we got William back. So we'll still start with you, Big Low. One guy on the roster that is untouchable, and why?
Bijan Robinson.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Bijan Robinson is untouchable. I feel like he's going to affect this offense on the ground and through the air. I know that what was that 2-3 weeks ago? The whole discussion around Falcons social media was that. It'll be one of those cases where he could take on that Christian McCaffrey role. And I mean, I could definitely see that happening. So yeah, I mean, out of everybody on the roster, I mean, even though Tyler Algier is very talented, and I know how people get up in arms, if you mention Bijan without Tyler Algier. I'm not saying Tyler Algier isn't important, but I'm just saying that look, you have Kirk Cousins, but you also have Michael Penix. You have Drake London, but you also have Darnell Mooney. But there's only one Bijan Robinson on this roster, and he's the untouchable guy to me.
William, you there now? So it looks like he's still not there. So, so we're gonna pass it to Jack. Jack, what's one guy, offense or defense, that you would never, ever move this season?
Oh man, big shot to country with that answer of Bijan Robinson. You took my answer, but guess what? I have a podcast too as well, so you got to be ready with this type of information. My guy's going to be Chris Lindstrom. Chris is the number one guard in the NFL, and you got to look in those trenches, man. That he was drafted here for a reason. I understand, when Mariota and Desmond Ridder was here, they couldn't get the job done, but Chris Lindstrom got the job done. He did his job. Big shout to Matt Ryan too. I always go back to Matt Ryan when he said, "Do your effing job." Chris Lindstrom does his job. Every single play, he doesn't take plays off. He's a dog in the trenches, man, and that's a guy that we definitely need here for the future. Also, he's going to be a big part of helping protect Kirk Cousins. Even when Jake Matthews gone, your veteran, Chris Lindstrom would be the guy to really step up and take this offensive line to the next level. But when you have the number one guard in the league on your team, why would you give him up? You know what I'm saying? You got to keep him there. There's a lot of teams that's still fighting to and what are they talking about? Matter of fact, this college football league just hit me up. There's a lot of teams in this NFL right now that's still trying to get their offensive line together. They're trying to find out who their starting guard is going to be. Going to camp this week, trying to do competition battles for their tackle position and their center position. It's good to know that the Falcons have their offensive line ready for this season. But when you have a guy like Chris Lindstrom, you can't give up that player right there, man. That is the number one guard in the league for a reason. But he doesn't even look like the number one guard. If you walk past Chris Lindstrom, you'll say, he doesn't look like the guard. But when he puts on that pads, man, he is physical, he's rough, he's all about the Falcons, man. He is definitely what you want here in Atlanta. So my guy is Chris Lindstrom.
So far we got two offensive guys that have been listed as untouchables. First one from Big Low was Bijan Robinson. Then we had Jack Space say Chris Lindstrom. Two great answers. Now the question is to you, William. What's one guy on the roster that you would not trade this season?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Only person I won't trade really, I won't say AJ Terrell because I know he on a contract year. I understand he had ups and downs adjusting to the new scheme, but I think they're gonna make it happen with AJ Terrell. He get his contract extended next year. It depends if we win the division, win the Super Bowl, but I think Kyle Pitts might be traded because I heard that I don't know if it's a rumor source, but they saying he might go to Miami, but who knows? So that's kind of tricky, but I think it's gonna be hard for us to keep Kyle Pitts and AJ Terrell. So I believe they're probably gonna let Kyle Pitts walk in free agency next year because we got to pay AJ Terrell. I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep Kyle Pitts as our vocal leader moving forward. So I understand he come off a knee injury and everything like that, but he gonna get his yardage. But I just don't think they're gonna keep Kyle Pitts. I don't know if we're gonna have enough money. Let's still have to restrict some contracts. So I think Kyle Pitts might be traded. That's a tricky one. Probably next year. I don't even see next year. I sit around probably close to October. Well, I see this year.
Wow.
I see this year. So it'll be a tough one, but I think Kyle Pitts might be going to Miami. That's a tricky one because I think him and Tualola with Tonga Tualola, it'd be a good fit because they're missing the tight end over there.
So let's stay right there, Coach. Who would you rather re-sign, Kyle Pitts or AJ Terrell?
Kyle Pitts.
Why is that?
Cornerbacks are a dime a dozen. It's like every time you look, you go to any camp, you go to any website, you're going to see 10 pages of cornerbacks because everybody, if you're an athlete, that's the position that you're going to play. To get a tight end with Kyle Pitts' skill set, that's tough to come across. What did Gucci Mane say? Miss one, next 15, one coming. Like that's how it is with quarterbacks, bro. Like I can get a quarterback, and I could,
Wow.
Right.
and I could probably get one that could possibly get me more picks than AJ. So yeah, if I had a choice, I'm trading AJ Terrell instead of Kyle Pitts. In chat, everybody in the chat that's watching, y'all let us know who would you rather trade, AJ or Kyle Pitts. I just want to know what y'all think.
Keep it a bean with y'all, man. And big shout out to William Amy too as well. William Amy cool as hell, man. Big shout out to Will. This is a good talk.
I might be at that week 1 game, man. If I understand that the Philly fans, they ain't gonna probably
Pull up. You already know. Pull up. You already know, Will.
Yeah, I be in that band's week 1, man, because I really feel I really want us to blow the Arthur Smith and the Steelers, because a lot of Steelers fans in the Savannah saying that they're gonna beat us. So I say meet us in the band's week 1. We're gonna see what Arthur Smith do in this play calling. We're gonna see.
I'm gonna keep it a bean, man. Just because I'm a diehard Falcon fan, I'm looking at this situation like the old regime, new regime, Matt Ryan, Julio, some of those older players. Man, you're gonna keep Kyle and AJ. You gonna keep Kyle and AJ.
Jack, you gotta pick one. All right. So
pick one,
let's not say trade.
They Falcons.
Falcons. Let's not say trade though, Jack. Who would you rather re-sign? Because now you got to factor in the money.
I go with Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Country right there. Kyle is definitely, his skill set as a tight end. I mean, you can play him in that wide receiver role too as well. You can get another cornerback out here in the NFL, man. But those tight ends, like, they're a big part of that offense. And nowadays, with the way the NFL is looking, you need a Kyle Pitts on your team. You need a Hawkinson on your team, right? You need a guy that can help stretch the field when your wide receivers can't get it done. Kittle, Kelsey, right? I mean, the top 2 teams down there in the NFL have top 2 tight ends. The Chiefs, 49ers. The Falcons can make that mark too as well. They're gonna say, "Oh, yo, they got Kyle Pitts over there," And my worry is honestly for Drake London too as well. When he comes to the end of his contract, if his numbers don't look like he's a true number 1, will they get rid of Drake and just say, "Hey, look, we can build this offense around Kyle"? Because after Kurt, you're gonna have Michael Penix.
I ain't gonna cut y'all off. I don't think they're gonna let Drake London go. But my thing is, if I feel like if Darnell Mooney don't produce this year, I could see them at least cutting him and free up some cap space and let him go. Because I feel like Drake London and Kyle Pitts will eat this year. I just see it because you got to think about it. This game we're running 12 personnel. They said they're going to have Kyle Pitts doing tight ends and wide receivers. So they're going to have him in the Z, in the slot, and they're probably going to have him outside of Drake London, move him on the right. So it's going to be nightmares for safeties and linebackers trying to cover the Kyle Pitts. It's a mismatch.
And that's what you want. With Zach Robinson's offense as a first-year play caller, he's going up against Mike Tomlin week 1. Mike Tomlin ain't got time to hear about first-year play caller with Zach Robinson. He gonna tell his defensive coordinator, look, throw everything at this guy. We got T.J. Watt. We got some hammerheads over here. You got week 2 against the Eagles. That defensive coordinator, that new one, he gonna look at his team and say, look, we got some dogs over here, real deal dogs from Georgia. They're going to throw everything at Zach Robinson. Then you got the Chiefs. So, I mean, he's put into a tough situation as a first-year quarterback, as a first-year offensive coordinator. But then you have Kyle Pitts. You have Drake London. You have Rondale Moore. You have a guy we just talked about, Bijan Robinson. Kurt will definitely get the ball around. We were talking about on the podcast the other day who is going to get 1,000 yards, because Kurt's definitely throwing for 4,000 plus. You've seen it on his stats. You've seen it in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Who's getting 1,000 on this team? Is it going to be Kyle getting 1,000? Is it going to be Drake getting 1,000? And that's just 2,000 right there. So who's eating up the rest of the chunk of the yards? Because you saw what Matthew Stafford did in LA with Puka, and I'm sure they're going to try to get Casey Washington involved a lot. But I was listening to Steve Weiss was talking to Berto and Smitty a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about even Rondo Moore being in some of these disguise packages out of the backfield. A lot of audibles too as well to try to reset the defense. That's what I want to see from my first year offensive coordinator. And with a guy like Kyle Pitts, I want to see him eat. But I trust in this team because of who's at quarterback too as well. It feels I know his age is one thing, but I get that feeling like we have a veteran like Matt Ryan back in our system. Like we have a guy that we can trust. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game. I mean, Kurt is not a bad quarterback by far. But if he can get the ball to Kyle, if he can get the ball to Drake, if he can get the ball to Bijan correctly, that's Mr. 4,000 right there. You never know, man. On the next podcast, we might even talk about is Kurt going to be in the MVP race this year, man? Because we got a guy. We keep talking about this outrunning the South and winning the division and how strong this team's going to be. Well, Kirk Cousins might be over 4,000 yards, and technically that's in the MVP ranking for the season if that happens. Then you might even have Uncle Steve mentioned the other day, country, could Raheem win head coach of the year? Well, if you make it to the playoffs and win the division after a 6-year slump, you should be in the running for head coach of the year, right? So this is some things that Falcon fans can look at and say, whoa, holy snap, Kirk Cousins in an MVP race, Raheem win head coach of the year. That all comes with winning the division and outrunning the South. Like we're preaching it during the offseason. Now we got to go play it now. You know what I'm saying? And that happens in what Daniel Flick say? 7 days, 8 days? They get out there in that training camp. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. But these are some strong talking points here. And this is why I love doing the podcast, because it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I would bust my college football, but I'm over here talking Falcons with you guys, man. I love this, man. You know?
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy you hear people talk about. I mean, that's the phrase that everybody's been coining. We have to outrun the South, but I mean, whenever I hear people use phrases and stuff like that, it annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like we have to outrun ourselves. We have to outrun what we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, even if it's like I told the new team I was on, like, look, even if I wasn't here last year, I'm still going to say we. Because I'm here now, so it's one of those cases where Raheem Morris and the rest of that team, they have to outrun themselves, they have to outrun what they were capable of doing last year, and kind of take it to that next step. I know Will, he made a point. He's saying that he feels like if Darnell Mooney doesn't produce, and if Drake London doesn't produce, he feels like they would cut Darnell Mooney and keep Drake London. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like they would move on if they realize that Drake isn't the number one wide receiver. They're moving on from Drake. Like I mean it is what it is. You took him in the first round. You just signed Darnell Mooney,
top 10 pick.
Right. You just signed Darnell Mooney. So I mean with that being said, I mean this is a whole new regime, and it's one of those cases where you could go ahead and get that new guy in the future, as far as like who or you could think Darnell Mooney is your number one wide receiver, that's what he was in Chicago. Now that offense was on the struggle bus, but I feel like it's one of those cases where if both of them aren't producing and Drake's coming up next year, I feel like you might not see Drake that much anymore.
I have, and not to mention country, that's a strong point. And remember, you don't do nicknames either. So you don't want to hear about no outrunning the South. You don't want to hear about no nicknames for players either. I mean, we had that conversation the other day on the podcast. But yeah, when it comes to, Drake London being here in Atlanta, it's a thing where we want to see him produce. We love for him to get 1,000 yards and continue here in Atlanta for a long time because he's a top 10 pick. But Kirk Cousins got to feed him. I think a lot of people are hoping that Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts have the connection this year. Let's not forget about Drake.
Forget about Drake.
But even listening to Steve Weiss again on that podcast, because these are guys that's really close with seeing what could happen. And he mentioned Rondell Moore and Bijan Robinson in like that split back situation when one audible's out, and how do you match up with the speed on the field? And he also said Drake could be in motion a lot like how Puka was in LA. Right? And that's your number one moving around that much on the field. So now you're taking a guy from this spot, moving him to the other side. You got the cornerbacks who's looking like, oh shit, let me get on Drake. Matter of fact, let me not get on Drake. Let me get on Kyle. Then you got Bijan coming out the backfield who might be in the slot too as well. There's a lot of speed and elusiveness on that field, but it's a lot of experience of knowing the playbook on the field too as well. And that's the good part about it. Kirk Cousins also is the guy who said he studied the playbook, he studied the players, he studied Kyle Pitts' plays previously, Drake London's plays previously. I feel confident in having that guy at quarterback than what we had in the past because I know Mariota wasn't studying none of that shit. I know Ritter, but it didn't plan out the way it was supposed to be. But we know Kirk Cousins from what we've seen. He's going to get the best out of the players around him. We've seen what he's did with Justin Jefferson. We've seen what he did with Jordan Addison. We've seen what he did with Stephon Diggs and them. Now we're getting that in Atlanta. It sucks about the age and the injury, but I'm confident that this team with Kirk is going to get the job done. I just don't want fans to get upset week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, because those are 4 tough games that we have to get through, right? And then once we get over that, fans can probably readjust. But that social media on the first 4 weeks is going to be tough.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's going to be crazy because you're playing the Chiefs. You're playing the Steelers week 1. You got the whole Justin Fields thing. You got the Arthur Smith thing. You got Cordell Patterson coming back to the A. Mike Tomlin, good friends with Raheem Morris. So there's a lot going on there. Then week 2, you got to go to Philadelphia, Monday Night Football. If Philly loses in Green Bay, they're coming back to a Monday night game pissed. And they get a whole week of drinking before that game starts Monday night. So you're going to get Philly. You know how that is. And then they have a pretty solid team. I mean, we saw what Philly has done in the past. Defensive-wise, they're pretty sound. Offensive-wise, if they get it clicking, you got to watch out for them. And then you got week 3 against the Chiefs. But even with Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes, that secondary better be ready because these 3 quarterbacks love to sling the ball. Like Jalen Hurts will throw a 40, 50-yarder down the field. Russell Wilson, you've seen it. He will throw a 50, 60-yarder. You've seen what he did with Lockett in Seattle and what he tried to do in Denver with Judy. These guys get one-on-one coverage. They're gonna airball this shit out. And Pat Mahomes, he's improved in the wide receiver core over there. So we have to get our secondary ready for these first 3 weeks. I like that matchup against the Saints. But you know me, man. I'm all for
Easy work. Easy work, Pelicans. No,
Oh, yeah.
Easy work.
Man, come on.
Slight
Easy
work.
work.
Pelicans Nola, you up at 10:13 at night watching the Falcons podcast. You know.
Right.
But how's the
Yeah, he
crawfish?
worried.
Hey, Pelicans Nola, I heard the crawfish at Touffet ain't the same no more since Drew Brees left. Can you
Wow.
and let us know how crawfish at Touffet since Drew Brees left in New Orleans? That's all I got to say, country.
Hey, that's facts. That's facts. Hey, a lot of things ain't the same since Sean Payton and Drew Brees left, man. But before we get out of here, man, I want to ask you all one more question.
You can ask 1,000, man, all night, Mark. You can go like Mark. We'll talk again.
No. I promise, Lo. I know he wants to get into the college 25, so I ain't gonna take up too much of y'all's time today. But I do have this question for you all, man. Who you starting? Who you benching? Who you cutting?
Easy work. Easy work.
I need to get better.
Easy work. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, man. This is tough, man. No disrespect to whoever gets cut. Big shout out Bijan, man. It's 2024, man. I got to start Bijan.
Wow.
After that, we're going to really hurt them. We're going to really hurt them when we're up 14, 15, 16 points and they need the ball back. We're going to put MT in. We're going to put the burner in. Now my boy Free. Remember that block, big dog?
Damn.
What block?
I'm sorry.
Right.
Free got to get the cut, man. So we starting Bijan. Got Turner on the bench and just like them 24 jerseys I got in that treasure chest in the garage. You got to go, man. You got to go.
Coach.
But Freeman too. He has a cool family too as well. Big shout out to his family.
Yeah, shouts out to Free
Oh, that's
family.
facts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He from down there in Bachelor, Georgia. Shouts out to his family, man.
Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Mr. Thomas.
Definitely. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I well, you know what? I'm gonna change it up, Jack, because I know what Michael Turner was capable of doing. Just like me and Mark was talking about, he was runner up in the MVP race in 2008. Did it for a long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the burner.
I ain't got no problem. Want me to call him and tell him?
Hey, look, I know you plugged in.
I'll text him right now. Be like, check this out. They talking about you right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Let them know that your homeboy started him and you benched him. Make sure you let him know that.
Hey, you'll run into him this year. You pulling up to some of these away games, so it's
Oh,
gonna
I already know it. We're gonna have a good time.
be.
And then I'm gonna bench Bijan. That's
Yeah.
gonna be my change of pace guy. That's gonna be my that's gonna be my my scat back.
Mm.
That's
Shit, not the MJ.
yeah. That's my scatting.
That-
Do you? Yeah, that's my scat back. And then I'm finna.
You hit the dance too when you do it. Remember you.
Hey,
Yeah, we
took that,
benching free. We benching free.
yeah.
Yeah. Y'all know my nickname for Devontae Freeman, don't you?
Which one was it? Wait, you have a nickname for a player?
Yeah, I got a nickname for a player.
What you got?
Well, Uncle Luke was his agent.
Yeah.
So his nickname is Don't Block, Get It, Don't Block, Get It. That's his
Hey,
nickname.
if you're here from one time for the fan, drop a wow in the chat. Wow.
Wow. Shout out to Will.
Wow. Don't block, get it. So I don't even want to ask. Damn.
Oh man.
Hey man, big little country sports, man. I tell you, man. I see why you got what you got, man.
Hey, I said that at the top of the show, man. He the top dog for a reason, man.
Man.
No coincidence.
Ain't no top dog here, man. Ain't no top dog here.
But yeah, man, I want to
But
gonna start free. Like if you're gonna start free, you better have a damn good reason over those two. And Bijan going into his second year, and we're starting Bijan, or we're putting him on the bench on the start bench cut. But in his second year, I don't think Bijan would be cut in anybody's.
Nah.
I don't
cut. Nah. I mean, I think there's only one person you can cut. I mean, I think this is the easy one. Yeah. Who you start maybe be complicated, but come on now. To me, you got to start Turner. I'm talking about what he did 2008. Wow, bro. What he did opening night against the Lions, and then he continued that momentum. Because, a lot of people were like, oh, it's kind of flukish. Nah, he did that the rest of the season, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about with loaded boxes, a rookie quarterback, finished that season 11-5 and finished second in MVP vote. So, yeah, to me, that's the easy one. You got to start him. And then Bijan, man, is he really better than Free yet? Not yet, but we know in the right system, especially if you put Bijan Robinson in that 2016 team, oh, my Lord.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my Lord. We probably the best offense ever. Easily. What was that, Jack?
Bijan would have made the block.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
But that's out of respect for 2018. I don't even like going into the past. I almost started to cry just thinking about it.
Yeah, I heard your voice kind of crack a little bit.
I'm thinking about the drive there and the drive back. That was a good 20-something hours.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah,
that was the toughest. I'm talking about because me and my family, we went to Houston too, man. Man, we went to sleep so damn quick. We got back to the B&B. We went right to sleep, man.
Did you end up going to the party at Warehouse Live, the big party for all the Falcon fans?
Was that the one that Mayweather threw?
I do not know. I know the Falcons were throwing it. It was like right down the street from the stadium. It was called Warehouse Live. It was a giant warehouse. Probably holds about.
Nah. We were thinking about going to Floyd Mayweather's. Man, his tickets was a couple of bands. Oh. Like that's how excited we were at halftime. We looking at the tickets like, hey, we gonna go.
Hey, we gonna slide through.
Yeah, right. We gonna pull up. Man, we went right back to that B&B. So trust me, man. I'm with you. That ride home was very difficult, especially me. I was living in Valdosta, Georgia at the time, so I met my people in Alabama. We met up and we took the trip to Houston. But, man, I had to drive back from Bama to Valdosta by myself, man.
Man, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That was tough.
Man.
That's tough.
I mean, I thought I was, speeding back to Atlanta. I looked to my left, and Fox 5 was going faster than me back to Atlanta. I'm like, damn, they trying to beat me back to the city. Stay another night, man. After the game, I didn't even go back to the hotel. We just checked out and right back to Atlanta. I drove 12 hours straight back, man. I couldn't even do it, man. But yeah, man. This is great when you got podcasts like this. Like I can do this all night talking Falcons with you all. Mark, man, you got a great channel over here, man. You're doing big things, man.
I appreciate it, man.
About the Hawks, man. I'm glad Berto's not here so we can bash the Celtics. But,
hey, I think Berto watching from Facebook today.
He'll probably watch, like, oh, as soon as you say Celtics, here comes Berto. Like, wait, somebody said the Celtics?
All right. Yeah, man. But nah, definitely appreciate it. But speaking of that, because you mentioned Steve White, I guess I'll ask this one last thing. I'll let y'all go play college football 25. I should be asking about that, but I got my interview with Steve Weiss tomorrow at noon. Any advice, man? Any questions? Just anything. Just throw it at me. I'm all ears.
I mean, I would ask him, what he's, or if he's, been in contact with any of the coaching staff or anything, like, what are their plans as far as like rotating the defensive line? I think that's what I'm most inquisitive about. I want to know like what type of rotation they're going to do, and who else is going to be involved, how often they're going to rotate, and or if he sees, or if he could predict anything like that, because I think that's going to be the biggest factor in what we could get done on defense.
That's definitely a great question, because he seems pretty connected with our coaching staff. Like he has a lot of little different connections from the LA times, and so I think that would be a great question to see if he's talked to anybody on our roster or our coaching staff, I should say.
He lives on the West Coast. He did mention that. But then at the country you've seen before, he's been at the Falcons training camps for the past couple of years too as well. Walking with the media too as well. So Steve has a good connection, I'm guessing, with Raheem. And like he said, he stayed up and watched a lot of those USC, Washington games because he lives in LA. So he was able to catch you ask those Braylon Trice questions, those Brandon Dorless questions, because he got a chance to see a lot of them play.
Right.
And, definitely find out about those rookies. But the one question I really need you to ask, and I'm kind of really upset about this, because when the Falcons selected a quarterback in the draft, that nobody called me. And this is the problem that I have with the Atlanta Falcons, because
what?
I throw 80 on the run, right? And can you ask him at least, did he hear anything behind the scenes? From One Time for the Fan? Was he ever in anybody's QB room talk for
Coach Ronnie?
Because
I ain't talking crazy again.
I ain't getting out one call, and I know Steve, he got the inside. So Steve, if you're watching, or Mark tomorrow, if you can just do me a favor, Jack Spade from One Time for the Fan. Where do I fit in with this offense? I do play some corner. I want to stay on offense though, so I'm looking to get like QB3, QB4. Maybe I can beat out Taylor.
Hold.
Hey, cut, because he knew Jack was coming.
Wait a minute, Jack. But hold on, because we ain't seen no videos. Like I mean, everybody see what I capable of doing. Like everybody to see me. It's like you talk about you keep saying 80 on the run. Like we ain't seen no videos. We don't know what you can do.
Like Caleb Williams with that 40 time. You're not gonna see it, dog. You're just not gonna see it. You don't have to worry about that. It's kind of like like a private workout too as well, man. If the Falcons want to see me play, we can go to the training facility and I can show them. They ain't got to look at no tape. I got the tape right here. Matter of fact, I can't play it.
But see, and the thing is that Caleb Williams is going to suck this year.
Mm-hmm. That's tough.
You put two and two together. I don't got to say nothing else.
Hey, Mark, if you got time tomorrow, if you want to throw the question in there, I'll be watching.
Oh, I got you.
But don't embarrass him like that, Mark. You don't got to embarrass him. I mean, I understand, you cool with Jack and everything.
I was promised the first triple number in the NFL. I got 111. That's my number. And apparently, nobody has called me. So We're gonna take care of Rise Up to our fan club. We're gonna take care of off the field stuff right now until I'm on the field. But I'm kind of like Matt Ryan. You know, I'll be in that booth, but you give me that call, I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? You give me that call, big dog, I'm there. Falcons, if you hear me. Matter of fact, where's my football? Coach, I'm gonna go find the football. Let me show you something.
See. For the simple fact that you got to find it. See that go to show.
Until I find it,
That go to show.
Until I find it, I'll just finish this. I'll get back to you with that. I'll get back to you on that. Don't worry about
it. See, you can throw 80 on college football.
Shit.
On college football 25. See, I go out there, I do it on the field.
Sheesh.
Foot touch the grass.
Hey man,
I say, and there's video proof.
There's video proof, Mark.
One time for the
Video
family,
proof.
man. We'll go out there on the field. I got my team ready. You get your team ready. Mark, let me ask you a question, Mark. If we had a football game, would you get drafted? Would you want to get drafted by Team Country or Team Jack?
We already know what that. We already know what time that is. I ain't much no need in. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, tell me.
Both of them here. You don't got to say the answer now.
No. Let
Let
me ask a question.
We'll say I got him, and you be like, "Damn, I want to be on his team." Mark, who you want to get drafted by? Will you want to be with the winners? One time for the fan.
Well, hold on, our winners now.
You want to be with Country.
This is the opposite day. This is the opposite day. Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, I really considered all my options. This summer, man. And this wasn't a tough decision, but I think the best thing for me and my family is to take my talents to cut Coach low.
Sheesh.
I just feel very confident in his ability to take me to the next level. And I just feel like he gives me the best chance to win a championship. I'm sorry, Jack.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jack.
Thank you.
It was a tough decision, but I feel like I made the right decision.
See, you thought you was here, but you here, Jack. You thought you was up here. You thought you was up here, Jack, but you ain't. You ain't.
All right.
And I bring some hitters with me too, Jack.
All right.
I bring some hitters with me too.
All right. I see.
It was tough. It was tough.
Country, your first pick is Mark then. All right. So I got to get somebody to go up against Mark. Mark, what position you play if you was on the field? Cornerback, safety, wide receiver? Where would you be at?
Well, it's actually ironic. I actually played for Steve Weiss in middle school. So he was our offensive coordinator for the Lawrenceville Black Light. I was a defensive back, kick returner. So that was my position, man. I was a corner, most of my life, man. So, but in flag football, shoot, you can put me anywhere, coach. Shoot, I'm gonna ball out, man.
Plug and play. See, and that's what I love to hear, Mark. See, that's why you on the squad. We lock and load.
Put me in the game, coach.
Hey, you in there. You in there.
Put me in the game.
You in there. Country. You gonna give me some PT yet? I see Jack done played everybody twice.
All right.
Families here, they came to see me play for me. Yeah. You gonna pull that Arthur Smith? Yeah. I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna get to you.
Right.
All
right.
We are no better than that.
Jet Sweep.
XY3Y
right.
Jet Sweep.
Right.
Mark over there watching like, sweet man. I just told you I can do this. But man, we need to get out there and play some ball for real, man. Get a team together.
Yeah. We actually been looking into that. Like trying to throw together like a little flag football thing, and once we get that together, I think it's gonna be pretty good. We're gonna enjoy it. And like I said, I'm bringing some ringers with me too. I'm bringing Shady.
I mean, you got number 3? What's Shady? What is he now?
Number three safety in the nation.
Play. So technically, I gotta go. With my phone. Julio, you still available?
I mean, because you know who that's my business partner. So
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was live. I didn't know. Well, you want to bring out them ringers? Go ahead. I got them too now.
I got the ringers now.
When you see that Bentley pull up, like who in the Bentley? Oh, he's an active player. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I mean, look, because all I got to do, I just got to make a call, and Malachi Starks will be here. Like I just got to make the call.
Oh, we name dropping?
I just got to make the call. Malachi Starks will be here.
Hey, what about Cam? You think Cam will pull up?
Cam will definitely pull up.
Just got to make the call.
Cam will definitely pull up.
Just got to have some scarves for sale and some cigars. He'll pull up.
See,
Man.
see, just for that joke right there, he got it for you. Just for that
Right.
right there. Just for that
Hey, he
right
definitely
there,
coming
Jack.
now.
Can't go pull up like which one of y'all said the joke about the scarf and the cigars? Which one of y'all was it? Who was it?
Right.
Yeah, Camp would definitely.
Yo, remember that last video you got in somebody's face? Hold on now. Hold on.
Chill out, chill.
This is great. But I can take one thing, Mark. You will have a great show tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
You're going to do a great job, man. I've seen your channel for a while now. You've been on our channel too as well. So I want to say thank you again for that. But, you know, what you also done to help T. Will too as well. I mean, you've also looked out for T. Will for my ATL Sports. And he's talked about it constantly. About, you know, your channel and A1 and Berto and Country and everybody who's doing big things. So hats off to you tomorrow on that interview. I will be watching. And once again, man, just kudos to everything you got going on with your channel, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And hey, definitely appreciate you allowing me to be on your show. Hey, that's one reason why I'm here, man. You know, for you, you know, welcome me. I told T. Will this. I'll tell you this. Because matter of fact, I haven't told you this. Y'all made me feel the most welcome on any show. So I know I chose Team Low to play ball, but when it comes to, you know, watching the show, joining the show in the chat, I mean, I think y'all is probably right there at the top, man. So appreciate you, man, again for making me feel so welcome when y'all came on the show. Right when I got off the show, I told my girl, I said, bro, like that was like my favorite. Like they made me feel special, like you know. So. Yeah, like I said, I told T. Will that, but I didn't get a chance to tell you, so I appreciate you, bro.
And one thing too, as well, you know, especially with Steve White, you know, and these special guests that you know we bring to the channel, build a connection with these, you know, with these special guests. Not just invite them on the show to get information from them, because a lot of times in public, you will see them at training camp, you will see them at Falcon events. Next thing you know, we go to the playoffs or the Super Bowl, and there they are on the sideline. They look up, oh, right there. You can have that connection because I've seen it where, you know, people come over to you or, you know, they come talk to you. Like even last year when Michael Rothstein, big shout to Michael Rothstein, who used to cover the Falcons, he would walk over to us, Falcons with us, and other fans would say, hey, is that the guy from Twitter? Yeah, that's Michael Rothstein from Twitter. Like, oh, I wanted to say something to him. They didn't want to say nothing because they didn't know how he would react. But I've chatted with Michael on Twitter before. So it's kind of like when he came over to the Falcons training camp, hey, Mike, let me have a conversation with you real quick. So make a connection with these, you know, special guests, especially Steve, where his position is. Find out about Steve's career too as well. There's probably some up and coming podcasts or journalists who would love to hear about Steve's career path and why he chose to go the route he did. And of course, not only having, like you said, his connections with the Falcons, he has connections with the NFL. Yeah. So those questions about the Saints, how bad do they look? How bad does Carolina look? Like, let's find out how the Falcons can win the division away from the Falcons, right? That would be cool. Out like, is the Saints offensive line really that bad? Like, is Derek Carr just gonna get, you know, his job taken by Spencer Rattler? Like, what's the talk around the NFL? What's the talk around the NFC South away from the Falcons? Because I need to make, you know, I want to. My team is good on paper, but I also want to hear how bad other teams are that we have to play this year. You know, and we can all joke about Carolina being asked if they're 2-15. I want to hear it from the real people how bad, you know, Bryce Young could have of a season going into his second year, or the Bucs don't look that ready. I want to hear that type of thing. So, once again, man, I'll be watching. So,
definitely, man, definitely, man. Mark, we're proud of everything that you accomplishing, man. You doing it big, man. Just keep up that great work and keep, you know, hitting everybody with that great content, man. I'm enjoying it. Now, you see me, I just randomly post a comment like, man, I'm enjoying this content because I mean it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, I will say this.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I don't know you. I don't care who you are on the other side of these sticks. You finna get this business. You get on the NCAA, getting this business. You gonna hear a grown
man. You don't want this smoke, man.
Cussing you out like, who is this dude? Is that Jack? Yeah, this is Jack. I'm going in on you. I'm about to score again. It's 60-3. I'm all for that when I play college. Country, you're gonna hear some of this talking in a couple of days, so don't worry. I'm giving you some time to practice first.
I'm gonna dust you off because you ain't gonna be talking trash to me because you're gonna be quiet.
Okay.
You're gonna be quiet.
I bet I see that mic mute in the top of the corner.
Ain't gonna be no mute. Ain't gonna be no mute.
I want to see the, you know, you see the vocals moving. I want to see that. I don't want to see no Mike being
like I said, you keep the same energy. You keep the same energy that you have right now. Then, because look, whenever it's coming, it is what it is. At the end of the day, like I said, that's why I said I'm gonna get hold to you when it first come out. So it's just X's and O's. I don't want no glitchy plays. I don't want no plays
True.
that you know are it's gonna work. It's just straight X's and O's.
Let me write this down. Country. What time? Friday?
Write it down now.
What time is this one, country? I got Scott Karisic here. I got Chase here. I got Bodie. What time you want me to fix you in for this NCAA, country?
Just like Janet Jackson said, anytime. Wait a minute, let me finish. Anything. Hello, Daddy.
Hearing voices in the house.
Hey, is it a must cop? Is it a must cop for the people that haven't played it yet? Is it a must cop?
Yes.
Days away from fully dropping for everybody, so you can wait. I wouldn't pay the $100 right now, but it is a must.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
It's
wait.
a must cop.
Yeah,
it's a must cop. It's in my opinion, Jack. I don't know about you, but it is head and shoulders above Madden.
Bruh.
As far as like the physics, there's no more vacuum tackles.
Yeah.
It's like as far as like the people like getting off blocks as you're running, there's no more of that. Like people just sticking the power out and grabbing you. It's an EA Sports game, but it feels completely different. The ball flight is different and everything.
Yeah. I'm not a developer, but I'm a big time gamer, and I've seen Madden be try to be recycled year after year. But they took a good amount of time making this game where it is right now, and I see why everybody's talking about it. But the highest amount of downloads in an EA game in over like 5 or 6 years, like that's pretty big because people have been waiting a long time for this college football. But just everything around it, man, the crowd, like just the fields, how you're playing in different college fields. Boise State's field too as well. Penn State's crowd, like the lights out game, that type of stuff. Like there's a couple things on there that make you just wanna, put a helmet on and just run around the room like you're getting ready to hit some people. And it's a fun game. I mean, there's so many games in the world you can play, but if you're a gamer and you play Madden, I would recommend getting college football. It's gonna keep you busy.
Oh yeah,
it's more challenging.
Yeah, it's
more challenging. Like this game. I haven't done it in years. This game, I threw a pick and I got up and walked around my garage, cursing at the top of my lungs because I threw a pick. It's like you throw a pick in Madden, you're like, okay, well, look, it is what it is. But this game was so intense. Like I threw that pick, I was like, God, I ain't gonna say what I said, but I was definitely upset. Yeah, I don't get upset like that. The only time I get upset like that is like when I'm coaching. I don't even get upset like that on the golf course because it's like, hey.
You don't want to be too loud too as well. You don't want nobody coming over there like, what the fuck you screaming over here? You messed up my tee shot.
Yeah, right. Well, look, if they want to come over there with that energy, I would implore them to do so. But it's one of those cases where it's very, very intense. I enjoy it. It's giving me that. It's giving me that rush that I have during football season.
Yeah, it's try to put all these games, get all these times slotted in. You got 2K about to drop. You got Madden about to drop.
Right.
Esporter, so esports like EAFC, that FIFA about to drop. So it's kind of like, how do you put all these games enough time into playing NCAA, playing Madden, all this stuff? But the practice makes perfect, man. Country, go ahead and get that practice in, man, because I'm dubbing people pretty bad over here. But it's all about having fun, man. At the end of the day, it takes you away from being out in the streets. It takes you away from being out in places you don't want to be. You get home, you put the kids to bed, you have dinner, you hang out with the fam, and then you get on, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Where you from? You from Cali? I'm about to bust you play dogs, boy. And then you play against these teams that you're going to beat. Like people bringing out Cal, people bringing out their favorite team. Might play Maryland. Like who the hell is playing with Maryland? Like, he's
from Maryland.
He loves Maryland.
He's like, hey, who are you talking to? That's what he said. Whatever you.
They say, you from West Virginia? No, I'm not. Get this whooping, boy.
Man.
But yeah, man, it's fun, man. It's fun times, man. But Mark, this is great, man.
Yeah, man. I definitely enjoyed it, brother. Thank you so much for hitting the old dog up and linking up with me, man. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, hey, I appreciate you guys. Hey, Jack, let everybody know once again. I know you mentioned it in the middle of the show, but where everybody can find you and your channel.
One time for the fan. Sundays, Wednesdays, Friday mornings. Well, Sunday, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Friday mornings, breakfast with One Time for the Fan at 9 a.m. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook. About to start streaming to Twitter soon. And great news that we're less than 50 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. And that just comes from being respectful to the fans and giving them content that they like, and just being positive about the team. I think we're all Falcon fans here at the end of the day, and we just want to see the team win. So that's what we're going to provide at One Time for the Fan. We're going to provide ways to win for the Atlanta Falcons and for the fans. Rise Up Tour Fan Club. We're going to be at every away game this year. We have so many events, so you can just look us up on social media. The Rise Up Tour Fan Club, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google. I mean, we got so much going on, but I thank everybody for being here tonight. I thank Mark for inviting me to the channel, and for you too as well. We got golf coming up this week, so get your 7-iron ready. So it's going down, man.
You already know it, man.
Okay, well, appreciate you, Jack. Again, that was Jack from One Time for the Fan. Y'all know what to do, man. Y'all go subscribe to our guy. And then we got the big dog, man. We got the big dog. You already know, man.
You already know, man. For everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Low Country. I'm just an old country boy, former football coach that love to sit around and talk about sports. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and I definitely and greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark, for inviting old country boy on. Also, Mark, I don't know if you heard about it, but we're doing the content creator meet and greet on August the 17th.
That's right.
I know that you're out of town, but man, we'd love to have you come through if you could. We're getting together and watching that second preseason game, but some other Falcons fans, and we're just gonna get together and have a great time, man. But yeah, I'll make sure that y'all come by and chill out with us at Big Low Country Sports on YouTube. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Black Planet, Bebo,
Oh, Lord.
two cans and a string. You can find us anywhere. So make sure that you check us out at Big Low Country, man. We definitely love to have you on.
Hey, man, thank you so much for not only enjoying the show, but also sponsoring today's show, man. Definitely appreciate, you exposing me to a bigger audience. So thanks again, man. It was definitely a great conversation. And, I look forward to linking up with you again soon, man.
For sure, Bo. For sure. You already know it.
Hey, well, that is Big Low Country. Like I said, I'm so grateful for everyone that joined the stream. Grateful for Big Low. We had William Amory come bless the stage. We also had Jack from One Time for the Fan. Just grateful to be here tomorrow. Shout out to my mom. My mom popping up at the last minute, came through clutch. Shout out to the Pelicans, man, too. He was making a lot of noise in the chat, man. Definitely had good energy for the most part. But again, shout out to my mom. And again, tomorrow, we have a very special show in store. Got NFL Network's chief national reporter, Steve Weiss, joining the show tomorrow. So unfortunately, it's actually not going to be live at noon, but I'm going to try to get it posted as soon as possible. So who knows? Still tap in at noon. We might be able to get it live, might be able to make some last-second adjustments. But as of now, the interview with Steve Weiss should be up no later than 3 p.m. Eastern. So I appreciate everybody that has watched this show. Appreciate Big Low again for sponsoring this stream. And until next time.